awkward silence. Mama is a saint, yeah, she raised me real good. All because of her, I don't do you like I should. Don't make me get you back to the hood. Don't make me get you back. I say bounce that shit like whoa. Yeah, bounce that shit like whoa. This is not a fairy tale, I already know how you like it. Take you to the mall and get you a new outfit. Girl, that's just some child's play. Bounce that shit like whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa. Heard all of the stories about you, I already know, and I like it. Take you to the mall and get you a new outfit. Girl, that's just some child's play. Bounce that shit like whoa. Yeah. Bounce that shit like whoa. She wrote it like a soldier, she wrote it like a, yeah, yeah, I got it, yeah. You don't wanna fall in love, I know. I'm not someone you should trust, I know. I give Chanel out like a hug, I know. I knew a couple of your friends way before. How many girls have slept in this bed? Say a different number than the one that's in my head. Lying to protect you, I be doing that a lot. My past checking like the Louis you just got. Married in our 20s now, where the fun in that? My city love me like a college running back. Pack a bag, you gon' end up staying where I'm at. Took you from the hood and I could never get you back. I just wanna let you know that someone love you bad. All in Cadillac, like I'm Teddy Pendergrass. Whipping on the shit, I'm getting ready to get that.
Today, we're going to talk about that brutal Cowboys beat last night, NFL and college football plays for the weekend, and of course, the squad ride. This is Behind the Lines. Well, Chad, I thought we were going to get through an entire football game without Jalen Hurts doing something stupid, but then he did this. How are people still in on the Eagles? It makes no sense. This team is a fraud. Jalen Hurts is a fraud. Sirianni's a fraud. This defense is bad. Jalen Hurts has lost a step. He had one good season. Be realistic. This guy's a pick machine. He's inaccurate, and he's not a great passer. Jalen Hurts is a fraud, and so are the Eagles. Go ahead and give me the Rockies on the ML. And I want to fade Arizona once again. No chance they lose a second game in a row to the Rockies, right? No chance.
Snell's locked in, Krabs. The Orioles bats are awful. We're taking it. More so just to make dudes pissed off, really, is why I'm taking it.
I mean, gentlemen, the White Sox are 35-115. They've won 10% of their games for the season in the last 3 fucking games. Whoever is in charge of that squad, organization, program, minor leagues, major leagues, should be fired and not allowed in the sport ever again.
Safe to say I'm the biggest, the largest. Been stepping up since my mama stayed in them apartments, regardless.
What's going on, chat? Happy BTL Friday, episode 554 piece. As always, hold the fry, joined by your hosts, Krabs, Jovan, and Bookit with Trent, presented by Bookit Sports. If you're not tracking your football bets, college, NFL, over there on Bookit, what are you doing? Do you live under a rock? Change your life. Start tracking your bets today over there on Bookit Sports. It's free. It's easy. Go check it out. The link, we'll drop it in the chat. Gentlemen, how we doing? Happy Friday. That NFL game last night, I feel like took a couple of years off my life. I don't know about you guys. Brutal.
Yeah.
More flags than I've ever seen. Moose shit wagers. Best kickers of all time. Missing kicks. Moose. Trent,
Moose.
Comments?
Fuck Daniel Jones rush yards. I don't know why that was in all my fucking entries. I can't get an entry to fall, bro. My last 7 Prize Picks entries have gone 3 of 4.
Oh, brutal.
Yeah. But I did go into that wager last night, assuming and knowing it was not hitting. I just didn't think it would be like that.
Disgusting. And the only guy happy about it is the guy over there on the right sector, Jovan, with a +5.5 ticket in his pockets. Go to muted, as always. Sure.
I'm muted.
Can't say too much about it because it wasn't one of my favorite, most confident wagers. But
real quick, Coots, your shit's so loud in my ear, bro. It's hard to hear. Thank you.
Ooh. There we go.
Here we go.
All right, well, let's move on from that moose shit game. Honestly, dude, let's go ahead and just bring it up, and we'll go to it here in a second. But first, let's go ahead and recap the squad ride from last night because, most importantly, that smacked, and that was not easy, okay? That was not an easy one, boys. Seriously.
That's why we have 9. That's why we have all 9.
I was goated, dude.
Gosh, man, they made us question the play. They made us question fading the goats. You know what, Jovan? You said it perfectly, though. That's why they played 9 fucking innings.
I also want to give honorable mention shout-outs to the Dodgers over, which cast very similar to that one.
Sure.
I splooged late night.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it.
I made up for the Cowboys route piss for sure.
Okay. Well, I don't know if it did for me. I'm still in new shit from that. We'll talk about it in a moment. Sharp report. Let's pull that shit up. Let's see how we did yesterday. Not my best work. Jovan carried 3 and 2 from him, 2 and 3 from me. And there's that damn Daniel Jones rushing yards up there. Cursed. Temple, they're a joke of a program, although they scored a touchdown early and they got taken off the board for a holding call. That changed the entire game. Brutal. Cowboys minus 5.5. I still cannot believe that didn't hit. I still cannot believe it. The Giants might have had more yards. The Giants might have hung around in that game. The Cowboys might have not done anything really that cool besides a couple deep balls early on. But you're telling me they don't win that game by 6? Give me a break. Unbelievable. You know what, Goots? Why don't we just go ahead and get right to it? Run that shit. I want to bitch here for a moment. In my 26 years of life, gentlemen, I don't think I've ever seen a kicker get jinxed harder than on that game-winning attempt last night. I mean, Jesus Christ. Everybody was tweeting about it the entire game. Brendan Aubrey could kick it from 100 yards. There's no way this guy misses. It's the most impressive kicker I've ever seen. And they're trotting this guy out at the end of the game, and everybody's thinking, all right, here we go. He's going to make this kick. This guy never misses, ever. He's the best kicker of all time. And we're going to get a Cowboys cover here. Well, it's never that easy, folks. Ever. It is never that easy. And I just had a weird feeling when he went out there that he was going to shank that thing. And what do you know? He does. When the commentators jinxing it, saying, here comes the game winner. This kick matters to some, and some are going to be happy he makes it, some are going to be pissed. Everybody was talking about it. Everybody knew what was going on, and that's probably why it was moose shit. Disgusting. Now, I'm not going to sit up here and say that it's rigged. It's not. The guy missed a kick. It happens every once in a while. He's not perfect. But that sucked. And that proved to me once again, the Cowboys, it's probably what I get for betting on that moose shit program. They're not good. They're not good.
No,
and as long as Mike McCarthy's their coach, Jerry Jones is their owner, and Dak Prescott's their QB, nothing's really going to change here, and it's still the same old Cowboys who fall short more often than not. Disgusting beat last night on this kick. I've been praising this kicker for the last 2 years, telling people, draft this guy in the 11th round, draft this guy in the 10th round of your fantasy draft. And what does he do? While we're on Sweats Live, he misses the game winner. L-hook. Disgusting. I'm still not over it. We'll get the coins back tonight in the Hokies game, but damn, that one stung.
That one hurt.
Fuck.
That one hurt.
Oh. I knew he was missing that shit the entire time.
Yeah. And the worst part was just sweating out everything that needed to happen leading up for that kick to happen. And we got it. Just for that shit to happen, bro.
Oh. We got subbies coming in. At least that's good. We got Aloha Bets coming in, giving a subby to Billy the Kid. Love to see it. W's. We got Reeve Trees coming in, dropping a subby as well. Vibes are up. We'll be okay. We'll recover from that missed kick. All right.
And I also want to call out Mr. Shady Beef because the last couple of primetime games, I always buy the hook because I literally just want to avoid exactly what happened last night. And he sent me this bullshit text sounding like goddamn plus EV Monahan, telling me how long-term it's a bad strategy. You're going to be down coin in the long run. And so I'm like, you know what? Maybe Shady Beef's right, dude. I don't need to buy this fucking half point. Sure. I fucking bet Shady Beef. Every time I place a primetime wager moving forward, I will be buying the half point. Fuck your advice.
And he also sucks at 2K.
And sucks at 2K. Sucks at 2K.
We're letting that get swept as well.
That's crazy.
Listening to him and Fat Girl's Bitch through the fucking PS5 goddamn controller last night was hilarious, but yeah, it was also miss. So add that to the list. Shady Beef is right. You should not buy points, but of course that happened last night. You can't fucking script it, Trent.
Also, just want to say I just put on the betting queen's noties on Twitter.
Okay.
Join
Probably a
me.
smart move. Probably a smart move. We cannot be having Trent and Betting Queen collabs anymore. We can't afford it. You can't afford it. You simply cannot afford it.
That
Okay,
corner of
so
this
maybe-
room is just saturated.
Soaking, dude.
Maybe
You got
just
about
fucking
5
wait,
water bottles down there.
wait until
Exploding.
she drops her plays going forward. That might help.
I'm literally waiting for the early MLB play. I'm sitting
might
here
help.
on her page waiting.
If only she knew. Okay. Well, let's move. Let's talk about some plays, some winners for today. We do have a lot to go over today, gents.
Bets. Sorry.
Trent,
Did-
I
dude.
just threw a water bottle. Sorry, you guys.
Trent, bro.
Grow up.
No
Grow up
way
and
we're
lock
saying
in.
holy walking
Grow
bets.
up and
Holy
lock
walking
in.
bets.
Come on,
Grow
man.
up and lock in. Come on.
Come on, man.
Let's go over the sharp report for today. We'll hop into it. Some winners for tonight. You know, we got college football. My Hokies are playing. Would love to talk about it. We've got some MLB as well. And then we're going to go over some of the weekend college football and NFL previews chat. So get ready. Get those notebooks out. Get those pens clicked. We got winners on the way. All right, lock in. Why don't we go ahead and start out with today's sharp reports. And we'll get it started out on the baseball diamonds. Hate to start it out that way, but it is what it is. And I do like a baseball play today. My only one of the day. But I'm playing the Guardians on the ML against the Astros. We'll see how it goes. But seeing Blanco up on the bump and the Guardians catching steam, and now Houston's at plus chicken. Now, I know one thing. Houston's bats right now are inept. They're useless. They don't exist. They can't score runs right this second. They're struggling at the plate. And I want to back Cleveland with Cantillo on the bump and that near 5 ERA is a lefty who's catching steam against Blanco, who's got that sub-3 ERA. Now, they got a crazy earned run score up on the board as well for Blanco today. We'll talk about that in a moment. But I got a pretty good feeling that he's going to get mucked up today on the roads. And he's got a weird earned run score, like I said, that's juiced to the over on the books at minus 130. Who knows how long that'll even be up on Prize Picks still. But I got a pretty good feeling that Cleveland's putting up some runs early and often against Blanco. That total in the game is up from 7.5 to 8. And I think it's coming at, at the expense of Cleveland's bats against Blanco with that weird earned run square. Give me the Guardians on the ML. They're catching steam. Looks like one of the sharpest MLB plays of the day.
Yeah. You got a team playing for something against a team not playing for something too. This is going to be, I would assume, managed a little bit like a playoff game for the Guardians because Cantillo is going to get, I don't know, he already has a pretty short leash, but I can only assume that probably gets a little shorter today. It's going to be a lot of the bullpen, which is good. So I'm in.
Why does this game matter for the Guards?
Still playing for the top seed, right?
I thought the Yanks were
Let
like
me
a
look.
couple games ahead of that.
Still playing for it. The Yanks just clinched the division.
Yeah, they're playing for seeding purposes, Trent. So although the divisions are locked up, they're trying to play, and get more wins than the Yankees and the Astros, although they're ahead of the Astros right now. But it's mainly them and the Yanks, I guess, fighting for that one seat right now still.
Yeah.
So they're still trying to go out there and win games. And the Astros bats not looking too sharp right now. I don't think they really have anything to play for because, like I said, they're not really in that race with the Guardians and the Yankees to get that one seed. So another reason to back, a motivated baseball club today at home against an Astros team that not only is struggling at the plate, but also has a much better pitcher on the bump. And there's some reverse line movement there with all the bets coming in on the Astros. So loving the Guardians today. We'll see how it plays out. Laying the juice minus 125 on the ML.
Sure.
Jovan. Jesus.
Yeah, the Pirates in September, dude.
Dude, we're really raising Jolly Roger.
Yeah, we're raising the Roger. Because this is one of, you got two letdown spots here. The Yankees, like we just talked about, are actually still playing for something, but they did just clinch last night, and who knows who's going to be in the lineup today still. They've been mentioning guys sitting, but that's not really the premise of it. It's going to be a letdown spot against Jared Jones, of all people, and I feel like this is a really massive start for Jared Jones because he's coming back from injury. The last couple starts, I guess. I don't know how many he has under his belt, but this is his job, just like it was with Ryan Feltner and a couple of the pitchers that have been pitching really well towards the end of the season to build momentum going into next year. And Jared Jones is a guy who needs innings under his belts. I think he's going to have a pretty good start today. It's a big plus if somebody's out of the lineup. And now you're coming off of a very emotional series against the Orioles where they just got a massive win last night. I think this is a spot where even though it's the Pirates in September, I will take my chances, especially being that I have the Pirates and the Rockies up here, 2+ money, decently sized plus money dogs. One of them are winning at the very least. So give me both in the ML.
Wow. And it passes my my model. of going to the team's Twitter and seeing showers of champagne.
Of course.
Sure. I'm glad that fits your system there, Trent. W's. God, you got some stones today, Jovan.
I love it. I love it.
You got some stones. But hey, back in Jared Jones, that's a much better matchup, I guess, than a couple of the other starting pitchers from Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
Skeens,
honestly,
probably.
he's probably the only one that I would take, other than maybe I guess Keller, but there's not too many that I would lean on.
Okay. I think I'm tailing both those, because
Jared Jones.
That fits both narratives, right? The Dodgers have champagne.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, the Yankees kind of fit, kind of don't, because it's not like they're not playing for anything, because they're still playing for the one seed.
It still
it's
matters.
Just,
it still counts.
Yeah, it's still a little weird.
Oh, we got champagne all over the Doyers feed. Ohtani blacked out.
I doubt it, bro. Come on. Come on.
Why is Mookie fucking spraying champagne? Dude can hit a fucking beach ball.
Also, Freddie's hurt, bro. He's in a cast.
Yeah.
He's in a cast. Not good. All right, Pirates ML. Jovan, love the sell job. Love me some Jared Jones, that's for sure. And love me fading the Yankees. So those are 3 check marks right there. Sign me up.
Ohtani, 14.5 fantasy. Krabs, I need you on that under. I don't care if it's in cores, bro. If that doesn't
I need you on that more than, bro. If I'm taking that less than.
If you're not on that under, you're not serious today.
Well, he's pitching for the Rockies though. Krabs can't bet the under.
It's Cal Quantrill versus Shohei, so it's it's 2 guys that I just want to fade and hate going against each other.
Dude, he can hit a home run. He can hit a home run and it still wouldn't cash.
Okay.
I've had one of those beats with Shohei before. 3.5 hit run RBI, 1 for 4 solo shot.
Oh,
dude.
Yeah.
That should be.
I remember back in the day, you had that 2.5 hit run RBI and Coors fiasco. You thought you were safe. You took it under and dude went yard.
Trey Turner,
you're like, dude, it still cashes, right? Surely. Yeah, I bet.
I mean, that might be the highest fantasy score I've ever seen for a hitter.
It is. It is
14.5. Okay. That is insane, dudes. I might have to dabble and take that less than, although we know how that goes. Just straight up fading goats. Typically not the right model there, but let's keep moving. I want to hear Trent's first play of the day today, and then you can swing around and go over the Rockies plus 1.5 as well. Ooh.
Washington money line, boys. So bricked for this game tonight. Everybody's thinking Rutgers looks free as ma, undefeated on the year. Rabs wagon. Yeah, I fucking bet. Lines creeping towards Washington. I'm looking forward to watching this shit. I don't have an actual football sell job for you because I haven't watched Rutgers for 1 second this year. But I think that this is a good spot for Washington to steal some coin on the road.
You don't think it's weird that a former wagon in Washington, although times have changed now this season, they are coming off a win, though, after that bad loss in the Apple Cup to Washington State.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a little weird seeing a school like Rutgers with a moose shit program as a favorite against Washington, or you think that's where it should be with them at home? Undefeated?
No, I think Rutgers is better. From my research, they have one of the best offensive lines in the country. Correct me if I'm wrong.
They do.
And Rutgers, they've looked good this year. I would argue that I think the spread is what it should be. I'm not shocked that Washington's plus chicken. I just think Rutgers. I think the Washington is going to get bitched by Michigan next week, and they get their win that they need this week. Yeah.
Jovan, thoughts on Washington ML here from Trent?
I don't hate it at all. I think it's honestly pretty weird that Rutgers is only getting a point and a half at home now. I feel like that's pretty odd with how much we all respect Rutgers, especially when they play at home in any sport, but football now too. And you got a team coming cross country. I was a little surprised to see another line open 2.5, and it's been trickling down ever since. I mean, just from that perspective, I like it. Football reasoning, I think this will be back and forth, a little more points than is usual in a Rutgers game, which is why I'm on the over. Talk about that in a bit, but Trent could be onto something.
Yeah.
Full transparency, I am on Rutgers in this game. I am. We'll see how it goes.
Well, I want to hear you sell us on Rutgers.
I will. We'll swing back around. It's on my sharp report. For now, let's talk about the Rockies here real quick. You've got them plus 1.5 today, Trent. You're back in Cal Quantrill and fading the Dodgers, like you said, after making the postseason last night or locking into that first place seed in their division.
Yep. Who's pitching for them? Do we know?
For the Rockies, it's Cal.
For the
Dodgers, I don't think we know yet.
Yeah, we don't know yet. But yeah, we fade the fucking divisional Dodgers, and it's really just part of my not locked in narrative post clinching, champagne showers and shit.
It's been working.
They ain't winning. It's working. I lost the Reds. Yeah. Reds against the Guards. They sold. That was Moose the other night. Yankees sold that same night.
Yep.
But I think I'm like 4-2 on them. So it's the only reason I'm up coin on the books this week.
Okay. Yeah, before those last 2 L's, it was on fire, that Trent. I think it won like 3 or 4 times in a row.
Yeah.
See if it could bounce back today after 2 losses. Always down to fade the Dodgers as well at this point in the season. Come on. Rockies plus 1.5, probably a good look.
I feel like this one's different too, because like the Dodgers are still playing for the top overall seed with the Phillies, but I don't think they would mind if they dropped down to that 2 spot, because you know who's going to be waiting for them in all likelihood. If they're the top seed, they're going to get the winner of the Padres and probably the Braves or the Mets and Braves series. So I do not think they would mind at all if they slip, so they don't have to see the Padres until at least the NLCS.
They might.
So that's why I think.
It.
Yeah, I mean, if I were the Dodgers, I would certainly prefer it, especially with the pitching staff disparity you have between the 2 teams. But yeah, I don't think they would mind that at all.
Okay. All right, let's swing around here. Let's go take a peep at Jovan's second play. And I believe it's
the Rockies.
Yeah, it's the Rockies as well. So any other notes you want to add there, Jovan, on the Rockies?
Yeah, no real notes, I guess. When I am kind of with Trent and just fading the divisional angle, but in the same sense, like the Rockies, I want to get pitchers who have something to pitch for and or have kind of been in the league, big veteran guys. So like Jared Jones fits that angle as like a young pitcher that's working back from an injury and I don't know, looking for something. We're talking about the Pirates and the Rockies. They have a veteran in Cal Quantrill who's getting his innings in, and especially is continue like tweaking his arsenal and cores. Like I think that fits pretty much everything. The Rockies bats have also been seeing the ball pretty well, and they've been playing in cores and have favorable matchups. We know how questionable the Dodgers pitching is at best, and you're probably going to see an extended bullpen game today. And I can tell you, if they're really committed to playing for that 1 seed, this will not be a bullpen game. So the fact that it is, I think, is pretty telling of what they are able to do or what they're looking to do in this game. So I will gladly take the Rockies.
Love the play. I think you guys are onto something there. WSL jobs. Let's swing this puppy around. So I got 2 more plays I want to go over here, and you knew we were going to talk about the Hokies here at some point. Might as well be now. Here's the deal, guys. I talked about this, for the last week or so, how Kyron Drones and Cam Ward, they're buddies, they're best friends. They work out all the time, in the offseason, them and, the Colorado quarterback, Sanders, whatever. Here's the deal. They're actually cousins, and people are starting to talk about that more today. ESPN gave out the notice a little bit earlier. If you're telling me Kyron Drones, who's looked like crap all season, isn't going in there on the road with 0 expectations against his cousin and keeping this game within 17.5 points, I don't know what to tell you, and I strongly disagree because the Hokies have not played good a single time this season. They have not looked good once. Not one game. They've looked terrible in 4 games. They're 2-2. They're lucky they're even 2-2 at this rate. But now they've got a chance to change the tide with 0 expectations after a terrible start to the season in non-conference play. Give me the Hokies. Give me the points. We might need them. Apparently, the weather is supposed to get better tonight. It's not supposed to be like a hurricane or monsoon, which I was kind of hoping, so we could give the ball to Tootin, our star running back, 1,000,000 times in this game and win on the ground. But either way, I see Kyron Drones play elevating here against his cousin. I think he steps up. We get the best version of him. And again, just like the Hokies finished the season last year when they started out terrible in the beginning of the season, had 0 expectations in the second half of the year and played their best ball, I expect that Hokies version to return today on the road with no expectations against a 7th-ranked Miami Hurricanes team that nobody thinks they can beat. Well, then why did the spread move down from 20.5 to 17.5? I'll tell you why. Because that's too many damn points. And that's an overreaction to how the Hokies have played so far and not how good they can play. I'll tell you right now, if Cam Moore doesn't play at his best in this game, he might be on upset watch outright. Outright. Yep.
Wow. Yeah, this normally I would say that this is just ratchet because it's your school and I've lost a lot of coin on them, but
Sure.
I feel like this is actually the right bet, to be honest.
Thank you. It is. I agree. It's 100% the right side. Do not take Miami today, chat. Please. And then Rutgers ML. I'm trusting my gut here. I still think it's weird that the Rutgers program is a favorite against Washington, but I understand the spread is close. It's come back a point or maybe a half point towards Washington, but I'm going to trust my read here. I'm going to back Mordecai and that elite O-line against a Washington team that I did not expect to be 3-1 at this point of the season anyways. I do think they'll continue to struggle, and I think this is another one of their losses here, baked in from early on in the season and why their win total was so low anyways. I think Rutgers wins and they stay undefeated at home. I do. I'll take the favorite here in the late night game.
Fair.
Jovan, you got one more play for the kids? What do you got?
Yeah, I'll split the difference between you guys. I think it's the over, which sneakily, I know this is a very different Washington team, and you see that reflective in the totals. They haven't had a game go over this year. And Rutgers, we know they're not really proficient offensively. They can run the shit out of the ball, and we'll talk about that when we get to PP squares. And here comes the conch. But yeah, ask the conch while we're talking about it. But I think there's going to be points in this game. I feel like this is very telling. Not only the fact that we saw the total, I would have expected a little lower of an open 43.5. It's now up to 45. I think Rutgers is going to run the shit out of the ball. Kyle Mononga is going to have a massive game. But on the other side, I expect Washington to have a pretty good game as well. They've liked to run the shit out of the ball. It's a weird situation for Wills Rogers. How is he going to be in this game? I don't really know. But I feel like this is the same way I kind of viewed the Michigan USC game, which was a low total, good defenses on paper. But I said there was going to be a lot of explosive plays that carried the total. And what do you know? There were a couple of very long runs from either side, even though the offenses were pretty stagnant. I feel like we're getting the exact same thing in this game that'll help it carry over the total, even if it's on the run game. I don't like taking too many games to go over that are relying on run games, but with this one, I will. So I like points.
Okay. I could see it. Selfishly, I hope it mainly comes from Rutgers, but we'll see. Back in these offenses to show up in prime time. We've seen a lot of games, crazy games on Friday nights, weekday games in college so far this season. Who's to say we can't get another one with plenty of points? All right. Over.
Yeah.
Trent, you got one more play for the guys? What do you got here? A little baseball under, sure.
Yeah, this game just screams playoff atmosphere. Runs are going to come at a premium. I think your read might be wrong about that earned run square, to be honest with you. I think runs are going to be very hard to come by in this one with Blanco, and I forgot who's pitching for the goddamn Guardians. Who is it?
Cantillo.
Random McGee. We'll see how long he even goes.
Yeah.
Could be more of a bullpen type game.
It's probably a guard's bullpen game. Leash will be short.
I'm not even worried about that because the Stros can't hit for shit.
Good point.
Honestly, if that would be better for you. Guard's bullpen game is better than Cantillo's starting for 5 innings, I would say.
Yeah. All right.
So I love this under. Stros unders print. Stay printing, bro. They legit. It's impossible for them to score.
All right.
Unless it's against a Cy Young caliber ace.
And they show up. And they show up to play, I bet.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that could help them out down the stretch in the playoffs potentially if they're only hitting well against good pitchers, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you better hope the Astros get goose egged in this game because I do think Blanco gives up 3 early, but you could work with that. And I don't think the Astros score many runs in this game. I thought that total opening up at 7.5 in this game was a pretty good sign. Even if it's moved up to 8 with the under juiced, I don't care. I think it's a solid play. I prefer the ML for the Guardians, but I do think both could hit.
Yeah, I think Guardians win this game too.
Okay. All right. W Sharp report straight bets, gents. Why don't we get into surprise pick squares here? We'll power through these puppies. Speak of the devil, Ronel Blanco. Yes, I'll take that more than 2.5 earned runs allowed square. It is extremely reds and juice to the over on the books in a game where I like Cleveland. And I don't expect Houston to really do much in this game, but I do think Cleveland's bats get going early, looking at that square on the board. One of the weirdest squares I've seen in a week on prize picks. I'm just going to say it. Ronel Blanco's been nails. Not many runs given up at all in his last couple starts. Pretty fucking weird that's up against the Guardians. We'll see how it plays out. And then Kyron Drones. This is a demon square. All right. It pays out if you take 2 squares, one normal one, and then that drone square, I believe it pays out 4.5x, I think, instead of 3x. So not the craziest demon on earth, but I do think Kyron Drones, like I've talked about already, is finding pay dirts and finding the end zone against his cousin in this game. Look, he has only scored 5 rushing touchdowns in his career for the Hokies. And they've all come last season. He hasn't gotten one yet this year. I think he breaks the seal and gets his first rushing touchdown of the season in this game tonight, in which I like the over. And by the way, I don't like the under. I've seen the under a ton on the feed today in this game. I think the Hokies, if they want to cover, this game has to go over, and they got to play and keep up with Miami's, pretty fucking elite offense. And I really do think Kyron Drones at a demon price here, when it's really more like a 50-50 shot, in my opinion, is a great play on Prize Picks for him to find the end zone. I can already see it right now. I know that guy wants to fucking find the end zone and score down, look over at the fucking sideline and chirp his cousin, who's the QB of Miami, when it's a close game, stress him out a little bit. I've already seen it. And I'll tell you what, he's due for one. I've compared him to Jalen Hurts before. He's much, much worse. Trust me. Okay. He's not as good as Jalen Hurts. But that's the same style that he plays with. We just haven't seen it as much this season because his Hokies offense has not been able to play their game. In a huge letdown spot for Miami here at home, I think Kyron Drones plays his game a little bit more today, and I think he gets one of those rushing touchdowns that we saw him do 5 times last season. Love this at a demon price. Only reason it's at a demon price is because it's in Miami, and I don't care. I'm not scared. And because he hasn't scored one yet this season.
Wow. Get the drones up and moving around.
Yeah.
Up and move.
Drone strike inbound. Watch out.
I feel like you haven't drone in a
Watch out.
while, Trent.
I
Yeah, you might need to get the nukes queue up and moving here.
Yeah.
Jovan, you got some squares for the peeps? We need them. What do you got?
We do have some squares. I'll start with Kyle Monangai. I think he absolutely torches that Washington defense, where you look like on paper of like what they've done so far this year, and they look like a good run defense, but in reality, they're not. They've had to play a lot of teams that frankly couldn't run the ball, both because they were bag. Looks like we're marshaling potentials.
I think we're back now. Just keep pushing.
Yeah, keep pushing. We'll see how it sounds and looks. But Kyle's going to have a big game. Like I said, Washington looks like a good run defense on paper, when in reality they've played bad teams that A, can't run the ball, and they're beating for a while outside of Wazoo. So like they physically couldn't run the ball because it wasn't in the game script. This is where I think you see that Rutgers offensive line lock in and give him plenty of rush lanes. So I think you can get this with rushing yards alone. It's not much of a bump from rushing receiving, but I'm physically required to take that 4.5 receiving yard square and include that in here, because that one is weird. He has 3 receiving yards all season, and that's up when I think there's going to be a lot of short game in the script along with the run game. So I think he pops a screen pass, and I think he dominates on the ground. I'll take the combo and say he has a damn good day. And then I'll take your guy, Jalen Lane, who I think is going to have a pretty good day, and they're in a trailing game script. This honestly feels to me like, I know he's not the downfield guy necessarily, but they're going to have to take some downfield shots in this game to, I don't know, have control of it. And Ollie Jennings, like you said, has been absolutely ghost throughout this entire season. Somebody's about to have to be the guy, and I think it's Jalen Lane to step up today. So hoping and praying that maybe there's a big bomb to get him down there for Drone's touchdown to cash with his legs. I think that could be the script we're going for.
Have you watched Kyron Drones throw a football this year?
Krabs, I am not the person to be asking that, because I told you Drones was rat shit the second he got to VT. He had a good year last year for a little bit of it and got you excited, and now he looks like Kyron Drones again. So I'm very aware of how rat shit he is.
Well, I don't think he's that ratchet. I just think he's playing bad with a lot of pressure.
I think he's ratchet, but
we'll
not
see.
on the
If
throw.
he's ratchet,
Not on
then that Jalen Lane square's not hitting on. If he's ratchet,
yeah, not on the throw to Jalen Lane. He'll be ratchet every other play.
All right. I think Drones is good. I think he's just looked like crap so far this season. And I think they came in a little bit fat, happy, and complacent this season. Get a lot of expectations, a lot of praise. And now you're going to see this team with limited expectations and zero stress now that they're 2-2 and nobody expects shit from them. I think he's going to play at his best. Maybe the lights have been too bright for Kyron.
I don't completely disagree with you on that. Like, I feel like he's going to have a random good game today when nobody expects him to. Playbook might open up a little bit, which is, part of it with this square.
He is certainly not as bad as he's looked throwing the football through these first 4 games. Nobody is.
Jovan, are you going to be on Miami or are you going to be on VT?
Not taking a side or total in this game because You know who Miami plays next week that I'll be max fading with?
Yeah.
Yeah, save my coin for that.
Wow, I just asked the conch. First of all, when I ended stream yesterday, I just asked the conch about the Cowboys game. Said the underdog. I knew then I was cooked, and then betting queen, it's just all the stars aligned. But it also just said underdog for the Huskies game.
Wow. All right.
Why don't you give it a VT Miami spin?
Yeah, VT
Yeah, can we?
Miami, what's the play?
Very, very curious.
What is the play? It says the under.
Wow. I don't know if I like that play, but
That
that
could be
conch
good for
better hope that
VT.
hurricane lingers around down there and the rain and the wind keep picking up. Although by
Good for
game time, it's
VT.
supposed to be pretty chill.
They keep that game under. I mean, that could be fantastic game script.
I don't know, man. I feel like if the Hokies win this game, it has to go over, to be honest with you.
I mean, if it goes over, Krabs, that could also mean Miami scores 55 points.
Yeah.
Which is my point.
Good.
You hold them to like 30, 31, and that's fantastic.
All right. We'll see. We'll see if the conch is sharp. I was hoping the conch would be on the Hokies, but I digress. Let's move. Trent, I want to hear about your prize pick squares for tonight. What are you cooking up?
Goods. PP. My plays, fuck, dude. What was
Martinez.
Damian Martinez rush yards.
Sure.
Only reason I'm taking this is because it cost me $5K last week. Shout out Vinny Vodka Sauce. One leg he gave me in my fucking 6-man. Shit didn't even come close, and it was a fucking green gob, dude. But apparently this dude's Lamar. I know Lauren likes it, and I like her reads. But I didn't even watch that game last week, so I didn't really see why he didn't run because we were at the Bookit event. But I've seen apparently this is Twitter POD as well. But I'd like to hear you guys' thoughts on this play.
Jovan?
I mean, I would not be scared of VT's rush defense. They do have a couple running backs, and Damian Martinez didn't need like the bulk load of stuff against USFs. Like that's why he didn't run. The game was close, and then he was like the goal line back, and they used a couple other people to get down the field, and Cam Ward was dicing him. So by the time it was out of hand in the second half, he wasn't really in the game. But I don't know. It's hard to say anything negative about.
He's got
Damian. I mean, this would be the game where they actually use Damian like a starting running back against the Hokies. Right?
All I know is this shit's green. I'm telling you it's green. I'm telling you, chat, this shit's green. I don't care who's on it. Betting Quink would tweet it out. I don't give a fuck. The square is green.
I mean, Trent, I like the play for the reason of, number one, the Hokies D-line has been a joke so far this season, although they're not supposed to be, and they bring in guys like Peebles from that D-line over at Duke. He's supposed to be an NFL defensive tackle. This guy stinks. He hasn't done a single thing all season. Haven't even noticed him on the fields. I don't know how long that's going to last, and the VT D-line will get moving and grooving here at some point. But Cam Ward, he's coming off of 400 passing yards against USF in that last game. I mean, he is at 314.5 passing yards in this game. That is a ridiculously high number, but I think this could be the game where we see Miami try to lean on their rushing attack against the Hokies that have gotten burned by the run so far this season. I know they still have Stroman, one of their starting safeties, hurt for the Hokies, but overall their secondary is pretty fucking good. So they've got two really good cornerbacks as well. DBU in the ACC. People think it's Miami, but it's really the Hokies. They always have elite cornerbacks that go to the NFL. I think this could be a rushing attack game for Miami, giving the ball to their running back, Damian Martinez, who they really haven't fed a single time yet this season. And looking at that chart, it could be today.
What if I told you, does your answer don't care no matter who's on it change if I say that Rav just commented he's on it?
Yeah, I mean, that one is kind of like a fringe one, but I legit don't care. It's green, chat. What's his name? Richie Parlay said, is this the under New Orleans part 2? Yes.
Wow.
Ooh.
It's green.
Wow.
It's green.
All right.
What about Jack Lopez, dude?
Yeah, is Jack Lopez green? Who the hell is that?
I bet you didn't think I'd know who that is, huh?
I mean, if he wasn't on the Angels, he probably wouldn't.
Probably not. But this dude's been seeing the ball well and having really good at-bats. He had a pretty solid series against the White Sox. hit his first home run in that series. But he's been squaring the ball up well, and could not be farther out on the Rangers and fucking DeGrom. We know DeGrom's probably going 2 1/3, so we're gonna get mainly bullpen from the Rangers this evening, and I'm not too worried about their bullpen. And we just need one hit from this guy. We're not taking a goat. We don't need a double. We don't need to sweat out an extra at bat. We just need a base knock. He's got wheels, and he's got some swag to him. I like the way he plays the game, and he's getting a base hit today.
Surprised we didn't see. I know it's a meaningless game, but I'm surprised we didn't see the Angels on Krabs' card getting 30 cents of line move against DeGrom after getting swept by the White Sox.
Dude. Like, actually, though, that's shocked that's not on your card. And that's probably a winner.
That under is probably the winner as well, to be completely honest with you, because Detmers is probably going to throw a gem today, huh?
Yeah.
Primers one teams, of those rare Detmers gems.
Primers teams are just on a new level of rat shit.
Yeah, they are right now. I feel bad for them. They're rat shit. They are. I do like the Angels. I do like the under in that game. Really trying not to bet on moose shit teams at this point of the MLB season with only a handful of games left. What do the Angels have to prove? And with guys like Anthony Rendon involved in the organization, I really don't want to put $250 on the Angels. But I could be convinced, and that under is looking to be funny as well. Detmer's got that 7 ERA. We know he's better than that. We know he's always good for a gem or two a month when he's locked in. Maybe today's the day against that moose shit Rangers offense, and we know DeGrom's going to go out there and shove. So probably the under in that game, honestly.
Sure.
All right. W sharp report for today, gents. Love it. We gave the people plenty of ammo. We talked about both college football games a ton for tonight, and we can circle back to those towards the end when we get the squad ride crafting up and moving. Why don't we hop over to the college football weekend preview and talk about some of our favorite plays on the gridiron in college for the weekend? Let's hop in. All right, chat. Let's go over our favorite college football plays for the weekend, college football weekend preview, and we'll get started out with our favorite unders of the weekend, the snooze fests. We'll do some Mikey Overs. We'll do our favorite favorites, underdogs, and meat on tape. Trent?
I have hella Martians. I'm going to fix them real quick. Just want to let you know.
Sure. W's? W Martian fixing here? I can get it started out here, chats. And we could talk about this under in Louisville and Notre Dame. And once again, W graphics from Daniel here looking clean on the right sector. I like the under in this game for a couple reasons. Number one, this is a big-time game in the ACC this weekend between Louisville and Notre Dame. Two ranked squads pretty close to each other, 15 and 16. And this Louisville squad moving down from that look-ahead line of almost getting 10 points on the spread down to within a touchdown is probably a pretty good sign for Louisville. I won't be betting on it, though, because Notre Dame is still due for a big win, in my opinion, and they already have their bad loss under their belts, and it's tough to play Notre Dame on the road. So Louisville, they might not look as sharp, their offense, on the road in this game in a packed-out South Bend Stadium, and they're coming off of like 80 points combined in their last two games. But if you look at who Louisville has played so far this season, gents, they've played Austin Peay, who most people wouldn't even know has a football team. They would just think they have a basketball program. Jacksonville State, they've been terrible so far this season. That defense has taken a huge step back. And Georgia Tech, their defense is okay, but I'd say Notre Dame's is better. And they're going to start playing like it, at least if they haven't already. Then you go look at the Irish. The Irish defense is starting to lock in. After that embarrassing loss to NIU, they've held their last two opponents, Purdue and Miami of Ohio. Miami of Ohio can't score a lot, but they've held those two opponents to 10 points combined. That Irish defense is locking in. Marcus Freeman, he might not be my favorite coach ever up there in Notre Dame, but that guy knows how to lead a defense, that's for sure. And I think in a game where we could see some rain, some wind potentially here, and that total dropping from 48.5 to 46, the splits look good. I will fade these offenses on the Peacock game at 3:30 p.m. Eastern, and I'll lock in the under in a game where the lights will be bright, a lot of pressure. Both teams need a win to really solidify their standings in the ACC. I wouldn't be surprised if the offenses come out flat, especially Louisville on the road here, playing their first real defense of the season.
Sure. You know I'm in. I'm always down for Notre Dame under because Riley Leonard is catch it, cannot throw the ball.
Yeah. Louisville's defense is solid as well. Jovan? What's your under, bro?
You want to get gross, Krabs? Because I see a UNC team that just gave up 70 points, 50-something in the first half to JMU in what I would call the most embarrassing defensive performance probably of the entire college football season so far. I see a total open 57.5 down to 56. And granted, they're playing Duke, so you can add a little Duke effect in there, but you beat the UNC team down the field. We just saw that from JMU. Malik Murphy, also a catch-trick quarterback. He's able to get the ball out quick, but that's about it. He's not a guy who can consistently beat you or beat your defense over the top with throws. He does it maybe once a game. Other than that, he's had a bunch of overthrows. He's been really inconsistent. So to beat this UNC defense, I feel like you got to do that pretty consistently. And I don't believe that he can do that. I don't think he's shown that when he was playing for a little bit of Texas. And I don't think he's shown that in the slightest bit this year. So it's kind of hard to stay away from this and not back the UNC defense to have a bounce back performance. And I kind of think they win this game kind of with their defense. But I think this is going to be one of the low scoring games where even though like Duke, their whole offense is kind of built underneath from Malik Murphy. So if they do that, like that's the one spot where UNC's defense has actually not been horrendous for this season. So I think the clock's going to be moving. And again, hard to ignore the total going down 1.5 after, what was it, 120 plus points we saw in that game last week with God knows how many in the first half. I'll get gross and back it.
Jovan, I really like the play, and I'm down to get nasty and take that under with you. I do have one problem, though. It's that I like to play in this game better than that under somehow. And
probably
it's UNC,
right? Yeah.
It's UNC at +2.5. I'll be on that. There's no way where I'm not. I don't see where they don't win this game, to be honest with you, after getting embarrassed and smacked in the mouth by JMU. Give me a fucking break. The Dukes.
Yeah, that's fair.
The Dukes. Come on. Look, the JMU has a great football program. They have since I was a kid. Okay, I'm from that area, kind of. At least I've been hip to it. They've always had great coaches. They've always had great football programs. But you just saw their elite coach and the majority of their players transfer this offseason. They lose all their guys. They still lose that game? That is absurd. UNC's bouncing back after that embarrassing loss. You can't be losing to JMU and looking yourselves in a mirror for the next week. They got to bounce back. And that Duke team may be the most fraudulent, undefeated team in college football still. They have to be.
Echoes.
You got echoes?
Now you're back.
I think we're locked in now, though. We should be
locked in.
Echo.
I think it's just on us. Yeah.
Echoes. Tens.
Trent, give your cell job. Me and Jovan on mute.
Okay.
I don't know if we are.
Yeah, we're good.
Chat 10-4, 1, 2, 3. It's because I'm switching my fucking thing. But sorry. The under in the Penn State Illinois game, to be fully transparent, I've been pretty dialed with totals so far this year. But I'm not very confident this week in totals. But this one just screams under to me. I'm not really high on that Illinois offense, even though they had a big win last week. Their defense showed up against Nebraska. And I just see this being a low-scoring affair. It's going to be a tight, close one. I think Penn State might actually fumble some bags here and keep this one way closer than it probably should be. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I fucking have a football knowledge read here with the quarterbacks and the defense, whatever. I just see this one being a tight game. Comes down to probably the last possession, and it stays within 4 or 7 points, and it's going to be really low scoring.
Sure. All right.
Yeah.
Look, under in a big game, you're not going to hear any qualms from me. I like it.
Yeah.
Stay dialed with the totals. All right. Chat, 3 unders for you, 3 snooze fests. Before you guys fall asleep, we will pivot. We will move to the next segment here, which I believe is the Mikey Overs. Sure. And I'll take you to maybe the nastiest play you're going to hear for the weekend preview. 2 schools who you probably wouldn't expect to hear from today, but I love this over in ODU and Bowling Green. Jovan, we actually took that Bowling Green under, I believe, last weekend. I think that was one of the plays I took on Saturday. And that was a great read, fading that Bowling Green offense and that team after almost beating Penn State in their game before. Now I want to buy low on both of these teams. ODU, who is, I think they're 0-3. Yes, they are, but they're a much, much, much better team than their records. And I think they show that on the road against a Bowling Green defense that at times this season has been susceptible to points, just not last week in a bounce back spot. And Bowling Green's actually good. ODU, I think, is better than people think, and they have not exceeded expectations anywhere close, and they're going to prove that they're better than they've been this weekend. Bowling Green's actually a good squad. They're solid, and I think they could actually potentially win their conference here. We saw them almost upset Penn State. I mean, we've never seen teams come close to that against a Penn State squad that covers damn near every game, really at all recently. To be completely honest with you, that was very impressive. And I do like this Basilek QB for Bowling Green. I think he's pretty damn solid. And I'll back some points after we've seen unders involving both of these two teams for the majority of their games this season. ODU's coming off of only 17 points in their last game against the Hokies, but that was a Hokies defense that, to be fair, is much better than Bowling Green. Come on, it's just different players out there, just different levels of skill there. And then Bowling Green's offense, I expect them to bounce back and put up a big number. They're 1-2. They're going to win this game. They're going to cover. That spread's moving from -8 to -10.5. The total's up from 49.5 to 51.5. I think Bowling Green puts up a 35 or 40 burg in this game. And all we're going to need is 2 touchdowns from ODU, and we're going to get those with ease. Give me a nasty over between 2 crummy teams who are better than people think.
I like that. I think Bowling Green beats the absolute piss out of them.
They do.
Honestly, might get pretty close to that by themselves.
Yeah, they do. I mean, that spread's moving up. That's some serious respect for a Bowling Green team against ODU, laying almost 2 touchdowns there.
Yeah, I'm in.
Jovan, you like the over in Tulane USF, and then we've got another TCU over as well from Trent. Excited to hear that one. Let's get to Tulane and USF first. What do you like about points there, Jovan?
I think this game is going to be absolutely nuts. And I mean, that's not a hot take. If you've seen USF play, I don't know, I guess in the first halves of these games against bigger teams that they played Miami and Bama close. And then especially if you saw like the Tulane Lafayette game last week, I think this game parallels that. It's actually kind of crazy to me because I remember seeing 64 and 65, I think, totals for USF when they were going up to play Bama and Miami, and now they're going to Tulane, which Tulane's defense, I know it's a little different team than we've seen the last couple of years. They're devoid a couple guys. The whole scheme's kind of gone, but defensively, they've still kind of held their own in these 2 games against bigger teams early in the season. So to see like their defense at home not really getting all that much respect, the line's creeping towards USF, the total's as high as it is. I think we get an old-fashioned shootout, which USF has been pretty privy to over the past couple of years, but like they played Miami and Bama close for the first half and then kind of fell apart in the second half. This is where we get a complete performance. I think this is like a 45-38 game one way or the other. I think I love plenty of offense in this one. Byron Brown is healthy, I believe, and going to play, which is huge. What he adds to his feet is going to be huge against that defense. So give me a shootout. I would love this. 11 a.m. fireworks.
Ooh. I like taking overs in the early slate because I feel like the late overs are cake. Yes. Overall, at least the solo games, the overs are cake. The books know it. More action on those totals, more action on those games. Love getting out with some early overs. W's. Trent, TCU and Kansas. Also, could someone give me an update on where they're playing this game? I'm assuming one of you 2 gents maybe knows.
Oh, yeah. Arrowhead. Hooverhead.
Yeah, but they don't have a contract to play it there. Are they still doing it there?
That, I don't know where people came up with that. That's literally falsest narrative of year.
Okay. All right.
To be completely honest, this over is giving me Cardinals-Lions vibes because
that one didn't hit.
I know, dude. I'm telling you, I'm not confident in this over, but I had to give an over. I told you I'm not confident in fucking totals. But in what world
is this? You just said you love totals like 5 minutes ago.
What do you fucking mean? I legit
said
just
you've been dialed in totals.
You said you've been cracked out on totals a minute ago.
Do we need to fucking hit rewind? I legit just said I've been dialed in on totals this year, but I am not confident this week.
No, you did say that.
Thank
you. Just like give me some confidence, man.
I don't know what you want me to say, bro. This is literally giving me Lions fucking Cardinals. There's absolutely zero reason this game shouldn't have 100 points in it. Both defenses suck. Both offenses can fucking move the ball, and it's gonna find a way to miss by 3 fucking touchdowns.
Yeah, probably.
It is. It's too easy, dude. You got Mikey Overs making his whale of year. It's just
Rav 2. Don't forget.
Rav 2. Yeah. It just needed to be on this card because how the fuck does it not go over? Am I gonna have coin on it? Probably not, because I feel like it's cake. I feel like it's fucking cake.
All right. Well, I appreciate the honesty.
Okay, I'm not gonna sit here and make up some bullshit. All right. I'm not gonna have coin on this shit. I needed to pick an over. I said I wasn't confident in totals, and there's my fucking sell job. I have a rack on 4 MLs. You want to hear that shit, chat?
Oh man, love seeing chat get the trend here. The tables have turned.
Crazy.
All right, let's Let's groove. Let's get these overs and totals out of here before.
Wait,
Trent's
am I
prediction.
before you move on? Am I wrong, Jovan?
No, not really.
There's no way this ever hits. To be
There's
completely
zero
honest with you,
chance.
respectfully.
Like,
there's just
I
no
know
chance.
It's probably the easiest looking over I think I've seen, other than maybe some of the West Coast games in the college football season. But
Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
oh fuck, I was about to make a point and I totally forgot where I was going. I mean, I know I'm square as shit, but I've been doing this long enough to know a rat shit bet. I knew Cowboys was a rat shit bet last night. I told everyone that I knew it was a rat shit bet last night, and it was a rat shit bet. And this would be the same type of wager. This right here, this over should be 67, 68 and a half. It's 59 for a fucking reason.
yeah. You might talk me into betting that under. And before we spend any more time on that rat shit bet, why don't we go ahead and move and groove on to the next plays? Let's go check out some blowouts and let's talk about some favorites and some sides before Trent's head pops off his body. And I'll get it started off with Georgia on the ML against Alabama here. I'm not scared of Bama. I'll take Georgia here. I don't care if the line's moving back. Alabama's the most public dog of the weekend. Public dogs bite. You don't want to be on a public dog, and you don't want to be on Bama this weekend at home. There's a reason why this is the first time Bama is an underdog at home since I was fucking born. It's because they're losing this game. It's not that fucking complicated. And Georgia's coming off a game where they already got scared. They already almost lost their last game. They always do this, Georgia. Their first weird test of the season, their first, road game in the season. It's always weirdly close. I'm not scared about backing them in game 2 on the road this season because they've already been tested last week when they almost lost that game in embarrassing fashion and played like shit. Prize picks. I mean, we're going to talk about some of these squares coming up here in a moment, but extreme disrespect to Milrow, in my opinion, putting up squares that look like the freest more thans of all time. And then you could say the same thing, the opposite, I guess, with Carson Beck. He's got a very, very high passing yard square, and I think he's going to slice and dice this Alabama secondary, and Georgia wins this game big in a blowout fashion. I'll lay it with the dogs on the road. They're a favorite in Bama for a reason.
Sure.
Do you have any little nuggets for us on why the line is moving the way that it's moving?
It's got to be because Alabama is the most public dog of the weekend so far at this point. It's got to be money related.
Bama is dogs at home. They're catching.
It's got to be money
every single time that would happen. Thing is, we just haven't seen that for 17 years.
Yeah,
I haven't seen any injuries. I haven't seen anything really, that would cause that line to move besides Alabama being extremely public already for this weekend. Right?
Yeah. And let's not forget, Bama can lose at home. I was there to witness it, front row.
You have. Yeah. You saw rare L at home. Maybe we see another one here.
They can lose big games at home.
Yeah. Well, hey, it's a new regime. Yeah. Saban's gone. It's going to be tough against this Dogs team coming off already a scare in their last game where they won by, I think, 1 point in that game, or is very close at least. I think they bounce back and they show a much better performance offensively on the road here.
I think another underrated angle of this game is coaching. DeBoer and Kirby. It's DeBoer's first probably massive game at home. So
yes,
I would rather fade that.
Good point there from Gootsy. Chat, can you guys hear Gootsy? I would love to know here before I tell you what he just said. It was very, very sharp.
They can.
You guys can hear Goots in chat, right? That was a pretty sharp comment there. Pretty sharp nug from Gootsy. W's.
No, that's a great nug. That might be Goots' best nug because that's one angle I love to look at, especially in the NFL. And this is just a mismatch in terms of
a lot of pressure on DeBoer and Alabama in their first big home test under the new regime. I'll take my chances with Georgia as a favorite. Jovan, you're playing the Aggies, huh? -5.5. Let's hear it.
Give me the Aggies. And I was pretty excited to play this at 3.5. We were talking about it earlier in the week, talking about it on the coin toss. It's crazy that we now see this is a neutral site game. I think it's the last time it's being played there, but they're playing in Jerry's World. Arkansas is the public darling team that everybody loves for God knows what reason. They just won outright as a dog against Auburn on the road. Now there's a Texas A&M team with no quarterback that's announced. Who knows if it's going to be Marcel Reed or Connor Wegman. You would think Marcel Reed's going to get the start because he's looked better in the offense, but I'm hearing rumors of Wegman, and the fact that the number is moving back towards 5.5, I think tells you all that you need to know if you didn't know about this game already. This game's going to be madness. It always is when they play in Jerry World in this little rivalry game, but I think it's going to be back and forth enough for A&M to win this game. If you want to talk about coaching too, this is still a Mike Elko defense that did just get their scare late in the game by Bowling Green in that game that honestly they didn't really play well enough to win that game by even as much as they did or win that game period, but they did. And this Mike Elko defense, I think, is going to have Taylor Green, who anytime he's faced any good defensive scheme, he's looked ridiculously bad, which is why he's been moving around from school to school. I think he's going to have him in a box. There still will be a fair share of points in this game, but I'm going to bet there's going to be quite a bit more of them coming from the Aggies. So I think this is I was going to take it in this segment before the line move, but this is probably one of the weirdest line moves of the week, I would say, against a team that everybody loves with no definite quarterback situation. So I will get in.
Taking the Aggies as favorites against Arkansas. All right. Fading that Arkansas team that's a little bit overhyped probably at this point. I don't mind that angle one bit, Jovan. I like it. I like
Texas A&M, huh?
I like fading Taylor Green as well. I do.
That
Jovan, I
seems
like the play.
a great Fugazi piece.
Yeah, really good ML piece. I concur. You knew that was coming, Jovan. Cash the -1,000.
I figured that was coming.
You know what else is probably a pretty good late piece, gents? I can't believe I'm saying this, but Baylor. How about the Bears? I want to hear this sell job from Trent. What do you like about Baylor, my man? This is a good play.
Let's go, Krabs. I love Baylor. At home, unranked, they're playing BYU, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Who's coming off a massive win. They're in the top 25 now. I fucking bet. This is going to be a great game to watch. I'm excited for it. But if this system works like it did in college basketball, that shit was printing coin. I don't know if it translates the same, but in college basketball, that shit was so sharp.
Might not translate the same, but it's definitely just as sharp.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that much.
People are going to see plus Chicky ranked BYU and click a button and think it's free. And
especially after that great game last weekend. Yeah. 38-9 against Kansas State. They looked unbeatable. They had punt return touchdowns. Everything went right for BYU in that game. Could not have been an easier win. And Baylor, the opposite, coming off that terrible loss to Colorado that pretty much only happened because of 45-yard Hail Mary with time expiring to get to OT. I want to back that hungry Baylor team after an embarrassing loss. They had a chance to beat Coach Prime in Colorado. They blew it. I think they bounced back at home. I'll tell you what, I do think they win this game and they win big, but I would probably play the ML to be just a little safer here, unless it gets back to -2.5 inside that -3 key number.
I will not be taking any bullshit spread numbers right now. I'm too sensitive.
You've been hurt. Yes, I get it.
I've been hurt. I've been soul soft.
I get it. Yeah, not the good kind either.
I just put a rack on Georgia, by the way.
Okay, that's a winner. That's a winner. And I think Baylor is as well. Like the play. Chat, what do you guys think about these three favorites as we get a sub bank coming in from my favorite account in chat? Dave Martinez's burner. Love to see it. Krabs, I'm going to need a 10-unit whale this weekend after the Corbin Moose. Yeah, I could use one as well.
Real quick, I'd like to ask Jovan why he doesn't like Baylor.
Because BYU fading them has been the sharp side for 4 straight weeks. And they're 4-0 ATS with, I don't know, none of the games were even close, the other team covering. So I kind of think they might be the TCU of last year. The one thing, I guess, or not of last year, like national championship TCU, where it was sharp to fade them every single week. And you ended up in Moose Piss doing it. So I'm a little worried. I think they might be good. I think they might be legitimately good. Plus, you're fading a pretty big narrative here. I don't know if you know this narrative. They haven't won a day game against an FBS team in their last 10 games. They've done it. It's like
that's some
BYU only plays at night. That's been a known thing, but I'm just putting a number to it for you to know. It's a chance for them to bust a streak. They only win at night. That's the narrative. BYU.
Well, isn't this game? Is it at night?
Noon?
Yeah.
Or
so
11 a.m.
What's wrong with that?
I'm just saying it's pretty obvious narrative that you're in.
Oh, okay. So you're saying
I just feel like there's too many of those at one time for me. I'll leave it.
Okay.
Jovan's seen too many people take it already. He's moving on to bigger and better things.
Yeah, I know. Who took it? Who took it, man?
Nobody took it. I'm secretly kind of a BYU guy. I just think they actually might be good.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, look, there are a team or two every season that it doesn't matter what's sharp or what's not. They just come through and win, and that's every sport, not just college football. Maybe they're the team, but I gotta pay to find out, and I will have
Yeah, that's fair.
coins on Baylor, not coin, not units, coins, plural.
Really? How
Okay.
many? How many?
It's probably a 2-unit geyser. It's probably $500
Okay.
on the ML for me. Yep. See how it plays out. I'm trusting my gut on that one, though. I'm trusting my gut on that. Reads insane, absolutely insane buy low, sell high spot in that contest. Absurd. Maybe the biggest of the weekend. Probably the biggest of the season. Let's move on. Let's talk about some dogs. All right, enough talking about favorites. Whoa. Would you look at that? Talk about another team that just might be them and just covers and wins every damn time. Minnesota. Let me start out with them, though, real quick. Plus 10 here, gents. I want to bet Brosmer. I like this kid. He's got moxie. He's got heart. He's a glue guy. And Michigan coming off that big time win last weekend, right? That the majority of people were on USC. They're surprised to see Michigan pulling that win outright. I'll take my chances with Minnesota on the spread down from plus 12.5 to plus 10.5 in this game with their stud moxie QB in Brosmer, who I think is him and could do enough to keep this game within 10 points on the road. Talk about a sell high spot. How about selling high on Michigan, who I don't think is very good, but they pulled off that great win against a fraudulent USC team as well last weekend. And Minnesota's coming off a loss, and I think they're much better than a 2-2 squad as well. I want to buy low on Minnesota coming off that L. I really like their QB, and sell high on Michigan here at home. Who's going to have the plums to fucking fade Michigan here at home after that big win last weekend? Probably nobody, but I'll take my chances on Minnesota with the points.
I actually love this play, Krabs.
That's a winner. This game is going to be down to the last possession, sweaty. I wouldn't even be surprised if Minnesota wins this game outright when nobody expects it.
Yeah. I wouldn't be shocked.
All right, let's hear about Wazoo. What do we got?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it already in our little Battle of Berg. I found it pretty interesting that they crossed the 7 line so quickly, and that's where we're sitting at right now. But, I mean, this is going to be one of the better group of 5 games, even though I guess Pac-12 kind of fits in a weird spot. But one of the weirder group of 5 games, I guess you could say, that we're going to have the entire season. I'm super excited to watch this game. Another team that, like you said, I think just might be them. John Mateer is going to have an absolute field day with that Boise State offense. Now, you can say the same thing about Aston JT against the Washington State team, but I feel like this is back and forth. I would gladly take a game like this to stay within a possession, call it too comfortable, call it what you want. But I think that Washington State team gets a bounce back performance. And I know offensively they kind of showed out against San Jose State, but I mean, defensively, they're fucking terrible. I feel like this is where we get a much more complete game. They come out early and kind of make Boise State and a little bit of a going to trailing game script, which doesn't eliminate JT, but it makes them a little less effective. So I love the Cougars this weekend. I think they went out right.
Wow.
Seeing Ashton JT at 180 rushing yards this weekend doesn't scare you a little bit?
No. I mean, what else is he going to be at, Krabs?
I've never seen a running back at that high of a number in my
He was
entire
at like
life.
160 last week, which is crazy.
But we do have a side wager on this game.
We
$200.
do.
So I don't have to bet this one on the books. I still do like the Broncos here, and I like them to ruin Wazoo's undefeated season. We saw Wazoo, I guess, has some sort of weakness last weekend when they finally didn't fucking, cover with ease in that last game. I'll take my chances with Boise, who already has a loss in this game at home, with the best running back I've seen in college football in a couple of years. This kid reminds me of fucking Doug Martin, the bionic hamster running around. He's an absolute stud, and I think Gene T puts up a 200-yard game. There's a reason why his rushing yards is that high. I'll lay it with the Broncos here at home to spoil Wazoo's perfect season.
Real quick, fellas, this is a mandatory take the football hat off for a second. Do we take the Reds money line?
Dude.
Do
And why would that be, Trent? Huh? Just
because Betting Queen has fucking Cubs as a mega max.
How many units we talking?
Just 2 U's. But
No.
the Cubbies
be
will get the win
interested.
today with Tyone on the mound. Martinez has been having an up and down season and is likely to have a bad start. Cubs will be hot.
Yeah, that makes
Krabs,
sense,
you
right?
you want to see something, Krabs?
I do.
So go to the. Oh no, we took it off. Jeez, never mind. But There's some weird squares up in that game that support the Reds.
Dude, can you sprinkle on them, man?
Hold on. I'm checking the Carfax. I'm looking around the game.
Also has a unit on the over.
Definitely not opposed.
6.5, right?
Yeah. Why is
Definitely not opposed, Trent. Hold on.
Why is that so short? Or why is it so low?
Probably windy. It's in regular.
All right, fuck it. I'll put a unit on them.
On the Reds?
Yeah. I'm in. Let me lock it in, Trent. If you're making me take the NFL hat on, you're giving me a winner. I got to lock it in. Plus 110, I'm seeing. I'll take them for a measly unit.
We're getting the Reds bet early. I'm telling.
I'm doing
Reds
it, dude.
ML? Yeah, you're involved in that? Come on.
I don't have a choice.
Come on. I'll take the Reds at plus 110. We could sweat that out here at the beginning. W's. Let me lock it in. All right, we're locked. Cannot believe I just did that, but we're in. 1 unit, plus 110. Book it. Let's get back to the drawing board here. Trent, do you have any other thoughts on Wazoo, or are you just riding with your wagon once again this week until they fucking cool off and lose?
Yeah.
Good. Guys, I do like Boise. I know I didn't talk about it much besides me versus Jovan Battleberg in that game, but I do think they win that game by 7+. We'll see how it plays out. Jovan, $200. What number did we decide on? Was it 6.5?
We decided on 7.5, but I don't know where it's going to be at because now it's at 6.5, and I also want to bet it on the books.
Are you sure we decided on 7.5?
Yeah, because it wasn't at 6.5 until today.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe we call it 7.
Yeah. I mean, I'm good with that if you want to do that. Give ourselves some push potential.
Yeah.
I'm down to put it at 7. All right. Let's keep moving and grooving here, gents. The baseball bets have been locked in. Let's get back to business here. Let's go to where are we going now, Gootsy? Is it meat on tape time? I think it is. And speak of the Devils, I've got the Baylor Bears up there, like Trent's already taken them. I texted Trent in the group chat earlier. I said we got all the same plays this weekend. More to come with the NFL as well. I'm worried about it, but I do think Trent is on the right side in that Baylor game, chat. I do think they win this game big and cover, but I probably will be on the ML if it doesn't get back to -2.5. Insane buy low, sell high spot in this matchup between them and BYU. I cannot ignore it. Give me the Baylor Bears. Meat on tape play for college football on Saturday. They win with ease after letting us down against Colorado last weekend.
Sure.
Okay. Jovan, Cincy, meat still glued, huh?
Still glued. This is actually the first time I'm taking them as a side all year. So, I mean, I haven't had them incredibly glued, especially like the last couple games, like the Miami, Ohio game and the Houston game. I kind of felt that maybe they would struggle a little bit more in one of them, and they didn't. But this game, I have to get involved because this is the same exact line at 3.5 that red hot Arizona strolled into Lubbock, fat, happy, and complacent with just last week. And Texas Tech got a big win. And I was on Texas Tech. Fuck Rab, fuck ASU, they're frauds. And Texas Tech got a win. They look good. The defense looked great. The offense put together a pretty complete performance. And now you're giving Cincy the same number. I'm higher on Cincy than most people. A lot of people haven't watched this team to say this team is actually kind of decent. The defense has improved the last couple of weeks. The offense is going to do literally whatever they want to that Texas Tech defense that even though they looked good last week, it's a little bit more Sam Levitt not being able to do anything on offense, and the run game never really got going, and they had bad field position and yada, yada, yada. Cincy's coming out, and they're winning this game outright. Give me the 3.5. I'll take that. Surely ML will be in something as well. This is the week you go full out and drop tonsils because they're going to Lubbock and getting a win.
Okay. I trust. You got a pretty good read with this team right now. I'll lock them in. I'll tell. Plus 3.5 you're taking? You have a sprinkle on the ML as well?
Of course. It's going to be in a random, I don't know, ML parlay with some dogs over the weekend. Always got to get that involved.
Okay. So somebody in chat's talking about Navy. God bless their hearts, man. They've been so awesome and fun this year. And I can't fade them. I've talked about this with Dave. For some reason, I can't fade them, but fade Navy this weekend if you guys have the stones for it.
This feels like I'm getting the same vibes as Navy last week on this play.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, sign me up if it's that fucking free. Holy shit.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it'll be a little different because it'll be, I guess, not the Memphis game was pretty back and forth, but they got out to a big lead, so it made it kind of easy. But yeah, since he's winning this game, and I guess we'll talk about it when we get to squares, but it's the first time Brennan Sorsby gets to play back in his home state. He's back. He's from Denton, and not that that's all that close to Lubbock, but he estimated 75 people coming to this game to come watch him play. So
A lot of people.
A lot of people. W narrative potential, but this is where he comes to get a homecoming win.
Well, that doesn't make me want to take him, but everything else he said did. So I'll
Yeah.
stick with it.
Sure.
You know how that makes me feel. A lot of pressure, especially on a college kid.
Yeah, but he's cool. He's calm and collected, Krabs.
He's good. He's good. And so is Cincy. I stand on that with you. They've impressed me this season. I'll take the +3. That's where they're down to half the books right now as well. Jeez.
Yeah,
Good
it's been
sign.
moving back and forth.
I mean, that look at line was 7.5. Let's not forget that. Okay?
Yeah, can't.
It's more than cut in half with how well Cincy's played this season. They deserve it. Okay. Trent, Auburn on the ML. Why do I feel like you're always on the wrong side of Auburn? Am I making that up?
You might
that
be
made up?
right, honestly.
I feel like you never get right on Auburn here. I don't know. Maybe today's your day. Let's hear the sell job. They're favorites against a ranked Oklahoma team. This could be sharp.
They weren't favorites when I placed it 2 days ago. Yeah, they were +2.
WCLV.
They were
Love that.
+2.
Yeah, they got some sooner injuries that just dropped.
Love that. This is
Bro,
a
you
great
put a
spot.
rack on the Reds, dude. Timeout.
Yeah.
Rackaroon?
Rack?
Dude, I'm so mad, bro.
Not even worth the 500 geyser, man. Cutting it in half for day baseball.
After last night, I need my lick back, dude.
All right. Continue. Auburn.
Yeah, if I lose this wager, bro, I'm legit I'm done, man. No, I'm keeping the train rolling, fucking fading primers teams, man. OU just, they don't look like really a complete team that can compete with Auburn, especially with the quarterback situation they got going. He started last game, or he came in mid-game last week?
Came in mid-game last game. This is his first start.
Yeah, this is his first start. And I'm more than down to fade a rookie quarterback. Rookie's wrong term there, but making his first start in a big SEC game on the road. Fuck that, dude. Literally, fuck that. The line's moving in our favor. I love it. Primary and piss once again, dude. Auburn might be moose, but I feel like this is just a game they suit up for. And
Auburn is 100% moose, but Oklahoma.
Does Oklahoma have any players in this game playing?
That's the thing. Like, I don't like.
Hawkins hurt.
I don't understand why they're. I know Hawkins came in and, like, you can say, like, you can't go with Arnold again after benching him, but Hawkins' first start on the road at Auburn with a bunch of wide receiver injuries just seems like a disaster waiting to happen.
Yeah, I agree, but I feel like they're in too deep. They've already benched him. The kid didn't play worse. They're not going to take him.
I know some of the injury issues just dropped, but if you look at the splits and some of the liability tweets of what the books need the most from college football this weekend, you'll see Oklahoma at the top of every single list.
Because people don't check injuries. People don't look into games. They just see a ranked team earlier this week as a favorite on the road against Moose at Auburn, and they bet it. And that's why Vegas looks like it does. Yeah. Trent, this is a sharp play. We'll see if it hits, but it's a sharp side.
Would love to share with you my biggest. I think this is actually my biggest college football parlay I've ever placed.
Huh? Wow. Go ahead.
And I haven't been parlaying too much the last month. I'd say like kind of midway through the baseball season when I was just betting on my bookie every fucking week. I was like, I got to just start seeing some green on the book, take some straights. But I love this parlay. I would love to know how you think it chalks. Baylor money line, Auburn money line,
good.
Georgia money line,
good.
UNLV money line.
That's a play that's getting swept that I'm so happy you brought up.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you what, this Campbell QB, who's like 30 years old and is going to be taken over, he might even be better, to be honest with you, under center. And they expected him to be the starting QB going into the season. He did events with Ricky White, the wide receiver, the star receiver out there at UNLV in the offseason, held a camp for a bunch of kids. He was supposed to be the starting QB until at the last second, they got that transfer to come in. The kid who just left, obviously, now because he didn't get the NIL money. UNLV, they've look, I've seen a lot of clips on Twitter as well. The players talking about it, the change, their QB leaving with the new guy coming in. They've all praised his leadership and pretty much made it pretty clear that he was expected to be the starter in the offseason anyways. And I've seen some clips of this kid. He can play, he's smart, he can run, and he's got an absolute hose of an arm. I wouldn't be surprised if UNLV doesn't skip a beat. Them still being a favorite after losing their starter. If you think about it, pretend like Saluka got hurt, right? And they're down to their QB2. They're starting their QB2, who hasn't played yet this season, and they're still favorites against Fresno? Huh. It's got to be UNLV at home on the ML. I love that play, and I'm so happy you brought that up.
I might tell that lay without Baylor.
Oh, dude.
What do you mean, no, dude? You know I'm not going to take Baylor, but I'll tail the rest. Tail a 3-piece.
I nuked it. Put a rack on it to win 8.
I mean, wow. I'm not happy you put a rack on a parlay, but I'm happy with the selections you made. That's for
sure. We'll be throwing other wagers to make up for any chalk lays that occur. But
maybe some straight bets.
Yeah,
you
already got
never
one.
Do that, right?
What?
You never do that, right? Throw a bunch of wagers after the lay chalks.
No, you have to throw at least 3 straight bets. If you're nuking a parlay, you have to. At least 3, because you need to go 2-1 to at least get some coin back. If you go 0-3, you're fucking Kanji better.
You're toast. You're burnt toast.
Burnt.
All right. I like these 3 plays, gents. 3 meat on tabs. Baylor spread for me. Jovan's got Cincy plus 3.5, and Trent is going with Auburn. Fading the ranked team. Love it. Absolutely love it. Real quick, any honorable mention plays? Any other college games you guys want to shout out real quick? I got to use the restroom. I'll be back in 30 seconds. Any games looking at you guys funny? Talk about them, and then we'll go to NFL.
I mean, I do feel like we brought up UNLV. I was going to bring that up here too if Trent didn't already, but I will be joining you on that. To be Martians. Could be back. Could be Kanji. Got to talk about UCF. Obviously, we'll be taking UCF. They're going to run all over Colorado. Got to fade them after that lucky win. Plus, I mean, it's really tough to play in the bounce house. People don't talk about that enough, no matter what you think of UCF. So it's going to be the ground game show. And I think UCF dominates in that game. That might be it. I think we covered a lot of these games. Trent, do you have anything else? No, still Martian potentials. Rutgers, we talk about that. That's today. We're talking about Saturday plays. I don't know that we have anything else really bugging.
Check. 1-2, 1-2.
Might be good.
Well, sorry, I wasn't listening to anything you said.
Let's go to some prize pick squares for college.
Yeah, we can go to PP
power
squares.
Through our prize pick squares for college here. Go over our sell jobs. I'll start out with Jalen Daniels. Sorry, I almost just called him Jalen Daniels.
It's got
on Kansas. If you look at his square, I mean, he's thrown interceptions, multiple in many games. He's got a greened out chart. He's thrown picks in all his recent games. He's playing TCU. Their secondary is terrible. I'm taking him not to throw a pick. Plain and simple. That's supposed to be less than half a pick. Oh, yeah, it is. Half an interception? Sure. In a game where there should be 1 million points, there probably won't be, but it won't be because of a fucking pick. I'll tell you that much. He ain't throwing one against TCU. And then Jalen Milroe, he's got the weirdest square up there on prize picks, probably of the entire college football weekend. He's got a greened out 2.5 pass plus rush plus receiving touchdown square that I am dying to fade in a game where I'm laying Georgia. I think Georgia's defense shows up once again this week on the road, stunts Bama at home, shocks the world, and Jalen Milroe has his first bad game of the season.
I love it, dude. That over ain't fucking hitting.
Simple, effective, and you're right. That under's probably smacking in Georgia, Bama. Yep. Jovan, curious to hear your squares, my man. What do you got?
Keeping it simple with squares that are some squares that I really love. Just going 2 quarterbacks and not fading them this time, unlike last week. John Mateer, we talked about Wazoo enough. Regardless of what you think about the game, like it's going to have plenty of points, whether it even sneaks under or ends up soaring over, regardless of the situation. John Mateer is going to do whatever he wants to that Boise State defense. You can argue that whatever Ashton Jainty and the Boise offense on the other side does may outweigh that in this game. I don't think so, but you can argue it. John Mateer, regardless if they're in a trailing or winning game script, is going to absolutely shred Boise State, both through the air and on the ground. And especially because Boise State plays, I don't know, very conservatively on defense after they got shredded early in the season. And they allow everything underneath. So like Mateer, that's where he's been best as a passer, and as a rusher with his legs, he's done anything he wants. So I think that's going to continue in this game. And then Brendan Sorsby, since he's scoring plenty of points, I'm not buying into the Texas Tech defense that we saw last week, and feel like it's going to be a little bit more of the defense that we've seen year in, year out. And even for like part of the North Texas game, Chandler Morris couldn't take advantage of it. But Brendan Sorsby ain't Chandler Morris. He's got the fam coming for a homecoming game, and this is going to be a spot where he's going to have all the time in the world in the pocket. The Texas Tech D-line has looked better this season so far, and especially last week, like we were talking about. But this is a veteran offensive line that's kept him crispy in the pocket. So I feel like he's going to use his legs quite a bit when he needs to and design runs, which they're going to key in on Kiner as much as they can, but he is going to dice up that secondary too. This game's going to have plenty of points in it. He's going to be soaring over this number. So I love these quarterbacks this week.
Sorsby soaring? Sign me up.
Sorsby soaring. Yeah,
Sign me
Saint
up.
last week when he's only going to have to put 2 passes in the air because they're winning 34-0. But this game's going to be back and forth. He's going to be airing it out.
Okay. 15 ads, bro. The subby's like $4, man. Sub up. Come on. And Milrose Square dropped to 2 flat, people are saying right now. There's no way.
No shot.
There's
What'd you
no
say?
way it already dropped.
What'd you say?
It did drop.
No.
The Jalen Milrose Square dropped down to 2. Dude. That sucks. That sucks.
Georgia is free as ma now.
Georgia might be a nuclear missile well play, Goots. Yes.
I got to say, too,
might be.
I feel like, I mean, this is good. Could be good for Georgia, but I feel like that total was awfully high. I'm not going to lie.
I thought
Like,
Carson
think-
Beck's passing yards is awfully high as well. Maybe it's a muck fest.
I'm shocked. I mean, the total, I'm looking at 50 right now, 50 and a half. Like, Georgia hasn't allowed a touchdown all year. And the Bama, I guess you can say they've been good offensively, but like they haven't really played any good defenses. I'm shocked that that total is not sitting like 45-ish. So, I mean, for me, the fact that I lean Georgia in the game, I think that comes with points, but points from them. But that total looks really high to me.
Big Dilf coming in with a resub saying Milrow will be boxed. Great points. W Subby from Big Dilf. We got Dilgod coming in, giving out a 5-unit sub whale as well. And a nice little Uncle Phil bonus subby there from Twitch coming in. If you guys aren't hip, if you give 5 subbies, Twitch adds an extra bonus subby in there. So if you're in the generous mood today, could be a cool day to take advantage of that and bless up somebody else in chat with a free subby. W Twitch, W Dilgod. Let's go. Love that. Damian Martinez just got bumped down from 63.5 to 58.5. Wow, Shark Lark. That just got me so fucking bricked up. Let's go. Come on, Hokies.
Don't be too brick grabs.
Maybe Peebles is up and moving here. Maybe Peebles will actually be in this game and making some tackles. That'd be cool.
Don't forget,
right,
Nick Nash got bumped down 20 yards.
Doesn't mean everything, but I will celebrate it. It's a good sign.
Yeah.
Trent, Prize Pick Squares. What are you cooking up in college this weekend, my man? What do you got?
Jaquavian Pork.
Okay.
Damn it, dude.
I didn't give this as my PID last week. I gave that rat shit fucking Miller Moss under a pick. And then I was telling, as I was selling the Miller Moss pick play, I'm like, I kind of wish I took Jaquavian Pork. And shit ended up soaring. Even in a game where their offense looked like moose, they're getting their lick back this week. He's going to be grubbing. This is the highest his line has been all year. And pulled pork. But give me Jaquavian Pork, man. Dude's
All right.
actually a beast.
People are starting to compare him to Austin Eckler. They're saying
There's
his
no
pass catching ability is elite. No, nobody's doing that. I just made it up on the spot. But
Not a soul is doing
I was going to say that's pretty disrespectful.
But don't let Pork get hot. It might be too late. The guy's been a receiving demon. I'll give you that. The last 2 games at least. Been catching footballs.
Yeah. And this Milrow Square. I mean, dude, that under in that game could be a max. What do you think about that?
I personally still like it, although I 100% hear what Jovan is saying, and I agree that total's probably a little bit higher than I expected, but that cancels out with it being the biggest game of the weekend that everybody's going to be watching and betting on, and who the heck wants to take unders anyway? So those two factors cancel out for me, and I will not be betting the total in this game. I do think the total's higher than it should be, but I always lean unders in big games, so for that reason, I'm out. Okay?
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather just nuke Georgia and call it.
Yeah, let's just take Georgia.
Yeah.
1 play per game anyways. That's the recipe for success. Okay. W squares. The pork one, completely biased, I could tell, but you got to take your guy. The Jalen Milroe square, Trent. That could be sharp. And it already got bumped down.
I didn't even
Love
know
it.
you were on that.
Love it. I'm blown that I got bumped, but hey, great sign. Okay. W college football weekend preview chats. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what your guys' meat on tape, either straight bets or prize pick squares are for the college football weekend. Let me know what you guys love. Okay, let me know in the chat. And we could go ahead and move and groove onto some NFL plays. Gootsy, run that transition, my man. Go ahead. All right, chat. Tough night last night to get the week started in the NFL with the Cowboys -5.5, but we got to bring the coins home. And what better way to do it than starting out with some unders in the NFL? And I'll get it started out with a team total under. I want to keep fading the Saints team. I want to back them to really struggle on offense once again on the road in Atlanta. And I've been impressed by Atlanta's defense. If you didn't watch that Atlanta game against the Chiefs and weren't impressed a little bit by the Falcons defense at times, I don't know what to tell you. I've been pretty impressed so far. I think they're a little bit better than people think. And at home, in a game where I think Atlanta wins, in a game where the total's down from 44.5 to 42, I think the Saints offense struggles once again. I know not typically a crabby spot after they got embarrassed by the Eagles in that last game, but I still think the Saints are overvalued. Alvin Kamara is banged up this week. Who knows how, useful he'll be if he can even play out there on the field. I know he's pretty banged up. I think the Falcons defense shines and the Saints offense, once again for back-to-back weeks, struggles. Give me the team total under 20.5.
Yeah, I'm in. I'll be on the Falcons. We'll talk about that in a second. So I'm with you.
Good. I love
I
this
like the
play
under,
too, Jovan. Let me hear it.
Yeah, I like this under in Vikings-Packers for a couple different reasons. It looks like Jordan Love is going to be back. And what worse spot to come back for a guy who hasn't played in a couple weeks and is coming off an injury than to face what might be the best defensive unit in the NFL right now. What Brian Flores is doing with that defense is actually incredible. It's if you like know X's and O's, he is a maniac of all the looks that he's giving all these quarterbacks and these offenses, and he's been able to generate like a ridiculous amount of pressure with 15,000 different looks for that defense. So against Jordan Love, and even if it does end up being Malik Willis, it doesn't seem like it's going to be, but whatever. He's going to have them in a box. But I do still kind of think the Packers win this game. KOC knows as good as anyone the way to attack the Packers is to bring out all the stops, but you got to start with everything in the run game first. So that automatically milks clock the way it is. I feel like this is a standstill game where we see a lot of stalling out come in the red zone when teams do actually move the ball down the field. So again, I do think the Packers kind of win this game. I just think they're really going to have to struggle and pull it out against a really tough defense to do it. I don't think that's going to come with plenty of points. So give me this under.
Love it. Love that under. I'll be on that myself. I'm tailing. Great play. Let's go ahead and fade the QB returning for the Packers, Jordan Love. I believe he's making his return. Fade their offense. And let's fade that Vikings offense. It's been overperforming all season as well in a low-scoring, tight rivalry affair here. Vikings and Packers.
Yeah.
W matchup.
I like that
Okay.
one. Little division.
So do I.
Under.
We got a subby coming in from Old Man All-American. Iowa State looking at me funny. They might just roll. I mean, yeah, they're up from -11 to -16 from that opening line. I wouldn't be surprised if they do either. I'm not getting cute back in Houston, although I definitely would not be back in Iowa State. So I hope your read's better than mine, my man, in chat. Okay. Let's keep moving and grooving here. Trent, how about an under in the Steelers game? Ooh.
Final score in this one is 16-12.
Okay, nasty. Nasty game.
This is going to be just smash mouth football. Two teams that love the chew clock and play good defense, and they don't score too many points offensively. It's going to be a snooze fest. I love this under. I think it's going to be similar vibes to not the same confidence as that Saints-Eagles under, where I just felt that in my plums. But this game is going to be boring as fuck.
Yeah. Well, you got WCLV as well. That total's down to 40. Right on the nose. So W's there.
Let's go.
I'm down to fade the Steelers offense this week. I'm a little bit worried about the Colts splooging. A little bit.
Someone said, how the fuck do you get to 16? How the fuck do you get exactly a 5-point deficit, man? Anything can happen in football.
Anything is possible. Yep.
16 is not even a
Anything's
crazy
possible.
one. This is the touchdown and 3 field goals.
Yeah.
Yeah. That happens once a weekend. There's a team that scores 16 points. Okay. W unders before chat falls asleep. Let's move on to some overs here and look at some of our favorite games where we're seeing some points. Hate to do it.
Krabs.
Hate to do it. Hate to do it. Doesn't feel right. But instead of backing the Cardinals on the spread against the Commanders for there being a chance that we're just different and Jaden Daniels is actually him and maybe they're like the Bengals in Joe Burrow's rookie year where they're just unbeatable. Defenses can't really adjust and they're just, fucking insane. There's a chance that that's true. And for the first time in my life, there's a chance that's true for one of my teams. So that's why I'm going to stay off the Cardinals, although I do think they're a great look here for Survivor. They're a great look on the ML in a parlay piece. And I do think they cover the spreads, but the total in this game has risen 5 points from that look ahead line of 45. It's up to 50 now. I do think there will be points in this game, mainly coming from Arizona. And we just saw Cliff Kingsbury and the Commanders have one of the greatest, performances I've ever seen in my life as a fan of this team on Monday Night Football. You think they're running that back? Cliff Kingsbury just stuffed that fucking cornerback for the Bengals in a locker, calling his offense simple. You're telling me Cliff going now on the road against a team that fired him as the head coach, he's going to be 2-0 back-to-back weeks in these crazy fucking head-to-heads for Cliff in a revenge season? I don't know. I don't know if he's got it in him. And I'll tell you what, our defense is sketching me out. They looked better last weekend, but we know our secondary is moose shit. I'm a little bit worried about what's going to happen, even with their tight end hurt, with Marvin Harrison, James Conner, Kyler, and a lot of those other slept-on receivers on that team, like Dortch, like Michael, why am I forgetting his name? Michael Wilson. He might end up showing up today. They've got plenty of options, and our defense is still not good. There's a reason that total's that high. There's a reason why Arizona moved from -2.5 to -3.5 after the Commanders' great win on Monday night. It's because Arizona is probably going to put up a big number in this game, and I do like the over in points. I like them to cover, so I'll go ahead and meet in the middle here and just take their team total over against the Commanders.
Can't hate it. Can't hate it, Krabs. W emotional hedge.
Yeah, win-win.
I don't
Yeah,
really
right.
I don't like you fading your emotional hedges, dude. I don't like it. Because then the bet loses, you're happy. Meanwhile, I'm down units, not happy.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair, I guess, to say that. But I'm also just putting up winners here. And whether it's against the Commanders or not, you replace that name on the front of the jerseys for that team playing against Arizona, I'm taking the same bet. I love it. So I'm just trying to keep it non-biased, to be completely honest with you. And I don't see a world where Arizona doesn't put up a 30-piece against their former coach and the Commanders after that great win on Monday. They're putting up a 30, Burke.
Okay.
They are. Sucks for me, but they are. Hopefully we follow suit and we also score some points. We'll see. Jovan, first half over in Philly, Tampa. Tell me about it.
Yeah, I think this is a game where, first of all, the Eagles and the Bucks were both in an absolute fucking box last week. The Eagles didn't score until that Saquon touchdown, or didn't score a touchdown until then. That was their only of the game. The Bucks scored a touchdown in the second quarter, and that was the only points they scored for the entire game. This is a game where I think they both come out to a fast start. I'm taking the first half for that reason, and also the fact that this game does kind of feel, I don't know, Lions Bucks-ish to me, or I guess Cardinals Lions could be even a better comparison, where both these defenses are just kind of lock in and towards the end of the game, and you're not going to see many conversions in the red zone and things of that sort in the second half. But these are things where I think the Eagles come out and they punch the Bucks in the mouth. A lot of Saquon early on their first drive. The Bucks have been talking all fucking week, which I will talk about that when we get to prize pick squares too. Getting guys on a rhythm early, feeding Mike Evans, who hasn't seen the ball because he's had bad matchups the first couple of weeks, getting the ball in space. They're going to be throwing the ball a lot more too because Bucky Irving's a little banged up and Rachaad White is bad at what he gets paid to do. I think a lot of this is going to come early. I feel like this is a first half game script masterclass where both these teams score touchdowns on their first drive, and then from that point on, you only need one for the rest of the half. So I'm taking the first half over. I kind of feel a second half defensive marination coming, but I'll get in, get out.
All right. After what we saw from the offenses in these two teams in their last games, I don't mind buying low and backing some points. Even in that Philly win, their offense did not look great. They didn't put up many points. Maybe you get some early in this contest, and that Bucs defense is nothing to write home about. Neither is the Eagles. That's for sure. They look like they were in that last game. They looked better, but we know they're not good. Fade those defenses, back those offenses by low. I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in. Looks like Trent's got some points in Sunday Night Football. Ravens and Bills, huh?
Yeah. Again, not super confident in totals this week. I'm going to be on Ravens money line, but when I looked on the slate, there was nothing I was really willing to fall in love with besides the Commanders over, which I was going to put as this, but Cardinals is going to be one of my whales. So I had to defer to just taking points in this game. This is going to be an electric game. Am I confident in this over? No. Am I going to have coin on it? No. But I'm banking on the two wagon offenses here to just show up, score some points. But I would rather be putting my units on Ravens late night. Yeah.
Okay. I have a feeling we'll be talking about that game a little bit more here in a moment. I could see some points. This is a much different offense that the Bills are going to face this upcoming week than what they've seen so far this season. Much, much different. Maybe that throws them off a little bit.
Only a first half offense, though.
Yeah, Goots is worried. Goots, have some faith this weekend. I feel good about it, though.
First half.
For real, though, Goots.
You know what you do with that now? Now that Goots made that comment, you take the first half under.
Yep.
Okay.
Boom.
Can I bet second half overs before game?
You can. You actually can. Yeah. Which is crazy. You can. Depends on, your book and how shitty it is, but you can. That is an option. All right. Points in Buffalo, Baltimore. Goots throwing Trent off there a little bit, but I still like to play. Let's keep moving and grooving. Let's go to our blowouts of the weekend, our favorites. What do you know? A couple of teams we've already talked about that I like. I'll go ahead and get it started off with the Bears, though. Who the heck likes them and wants to take them this weekend? Who wants to bet on the Bears with their hard-earned coins after 2 terrible losses, and Caleb Williams looks like he should not have been the number 1 overall pick? Complete overreaction, by the way. He should have, and he will be totally fine. But the O-line looks like shit. I cannot ignore this crazy line, though, after back-to-back embarrassing losses. And with the Rams coming off that crazy upset, talk about a crazy buy low, sell high spot in this matchup once again, the most profitable system in the NFL. Buy low on the Bears. They could not look worse. People cannot believe less in them right now, which is crazy with all the hype in the offseason. It's been 3 games, people. Relax. It's absurd. And the Rams coming off that crazy outright win against the 49ers, I fucking bet if they could run that back 2 weeks in a row, this time on the road with that banged up roster, I will be severely impressed. And I will give Sean McVay even more flowers than I already have. Okay, because that guy is a GOAT coach, but I'll take my chances with the Bears and that underrated defense here at home. And Caleb Williams got to show something at some point, right? Caleb Williams has to show that he's an elite QB in this league. There's no way that he's a bust. I still believe it. I still believe in him. And watching them move from -1.5 to -3 at home after how terrible they've looked their last 2 weeks and how good the Rams looked in that crazy outright win against the 49ers, come on. This is a great spot for the Bears. They get it done.
I love that. I'm in a little predicament here because I need one leg, or I've already decided what it is, but I couldn't decide between the Bears and Falcons for the surge, and you're both on both.
Yeah, that's tough, man, because I do like the Falcons as well. I just ended up pivoting and going with that New Orleans team total under instead of backing the Falcons, but I think they're both winners, man. I do. And maybe Jovan sell job here on Atlanta can help sway you, but I like the Falcons as well here. Let's hear it.
Yeah, and I mean, you mentioned it earlier when you were talking about the Saints team total under, but it's not just Kamara that's banged up. They have a laundry list of guys that are going to be banged up, especially on the offensive line, most importantly, because the reason why the whole offense has been so good is for a couple different reasons. First of all, the Kubiak's run scheme has been absolutely fantastic. Alvin Kamara is a little banged up, like you said, coming into this game, so who knows how effective he's going to be, especially behind an offensive line that's going to be missing a couple pieces coming into this game. So he's been able to be good. Also, Derek Carr has had time to have a picnic in the pocket pretty much anytime he wants to throw the ball. The Falcons' D-line is good. We found that out the first couple of weeks of the season. Let's see how Derek Carr can handle the pressure. I don't think it's going to be very well because when he's been under pressure, even this season, he's been same old Derek Carr. The reason why he's been able to be good is because he's been sitting in a clean pocket 99% of the time. So I feel like this is a really tough spot. I know it's a divisional game, so games always get weird, especially when the Saints are involved. But I feel like this is one where the Falcons are kind of searching for a big divisional win to kind of set themselves off. I think this is the one that they get at home by 3, of course.
Okay.
Trent.
We got Magic Lettuce coming in, resubbing as well. W's.
Itching about the Reds already. 1 out in the game.
Dude, come on, man.
I'm sorry.
Come on, man. Lock in.
2 outs, but just counting.
Trent, tell me why the Cardinals are covering against the Mandos this weekend. I want to hear it.
Yo, God, get in the band, brother. Not now. Not now. Yeah, this is got to be a bounce back spot for double.
You got thrown out a third.
Oh my.
Dude.
Sorry, Del God. I'll bring you back, bro. I'll bring you back. Fucking damn it, Ellie. I love the Cardinals here. You got a team who didn't cover and lost against a team who was a fat underdog and won outright. I love spots like this, and I think the Commanders come back to earth a little bit. The Cardinals are not a bad team. They looked really good so far to start the season. They were putting up a good fight against the Lions last week and probably had multiple chances to squeak back into that game and maybe even win it. I know they're going to be coming out motivated as fuck to win this game. I know for sure they don't want to drop this one and go to 1-3, I think would be their record. They're better than that. I see a get right spot here with the Cardinals. I fucking love them. I'm nuking them.
Yeah, I like the play. That could be what the Commanders need to hear. Trent on Arizona -3, but unfortunately, I do agree with the play. That is some respect after what we all saw on Monday night. Greatness, right? The Cardinals off of 2 losses, laying 3. Come on. Ridiculous. Absolutely absurd. Absurd number. Jovan doesn't agree fully. He might have a little bit of Commander's life. I'd love to hear it, please.
I just have a really bad, you know what this gave me feeling of? Just like last night with the Giants, fading that game. Because it feels like a kind of obvious thing, but I really hate fading the Kingsbury revenge game against his former team. I feel like, I mean, we'll talk that when we get to squares too. I know the Commanders are a little shorthanded in one of the key parts of the Cliff Kingsbury offense, but I feel like he's again about to scheme a masterclass. I mean, the defense, who knows if they'll be able to stay up with what the Cards are going to do on offense, but I don't know. It's just giving me a really bad feeling, Krabs.
Shit, dude, you're so right.
There will be points in this game. Like the Commanders are not going to fucking show up and drop a goose egg on the road. The total's at 50 in this game. We're going to show up. I'm very, very worried though, Jovan. We talked about this before the show. I think not having Eckler, who's been just a Swiss Army knife for our offense early on the season, low-key been like an MVP for us, although JD5 is the MVP. He's probably been second. Nobody's talking about it. He's out with a concussion and a lacerated ear. I think this offense, they're going to have to try something new, and they're going to be a little bit thrown off, especially early on in this game. They're going to have to rely on B-Rob a little bit more, which is fine, although they're not going to have those little dink and dunks to Eckler that have been so key for the Commanders in 3 games so far this season. That could end up biting them in the ass, and they've talked about it a ton already this week at practice. Cliff Kingsbury is concerned about not having Eckler in this game, and I am too. Look, man, I hope I'm wrong. I really do. I hope I'm wrong. I hope the Commanders come out and win this game outright once again and prove me wrong. But I think Arizona and Vegas, they know something that the public might not. Who the heck wants to bet on Arizona this weekend? Nobody.
I feel like you've been wrong about that. Like, who wants to bet on X team? Like, I do, and I'm a fucking square. We're jumping to bet on the Cardinals right now. Who the fuck wants to bet on the Commanders?
I don't know, Trent. I feel like you have a good read here. Maybe on the Cardinals looking like a sharp bet. Who the heck wants to fade Jaden Daniels after that game against the Bengals where he looked like the best QB in the league?
Me. I mean, squares.
I don't know, man.
And Cliff against his old team, too.
Yeah, you're the only square I've seen so far that likes Arizona. The splits look extremely sharp on Arizona. Less than half the bets, but 70% of the handle on the spreads. Commanders are pretty public. They're getting more than half the bets on the spread, but less than 30% of the handle on that plus 3.5. I don't know, man. I think you're on the sharp side here, Trent. I don't think that's a square play.
I don't know, man. I don't think that's sharp.
I hope I'm wrong. If Cliff Kingsbury goes 2-0 in these, prove it situations, I will fucking be giddy. I'll do a backflip. I'll say that I was wrong. I underestimated him and this Commanders team. I think the Commanders will play their best ball towards the end of the season. I still think they're a favorite to win the NFC East at this point. You've seen how crummy the other teams are. Don't get me wrong. But I'd be shocked if we follow up that unbelievable, almost perfect performance on Monday Night Football against the Bengals with another gem. They got to show it to me, man. And the Cardinals are getting some respect.
I don't know if the Commanders will ever be square.
Yeah. Not right now. They haven't earned that yet.
They're going to need 4 playoff appearances before they become square.
Maybe not 4, but I do agree with that comment. Yes. I do agree with that comment.
Crazy.
Yes. But for the first time in a long time, Trent, there is some hype around this team right now, and deservingly so. Deservingly so after Monday night. I'm excited, and I hope they prove me wrong. We'll see. Let's move. Let's groove. Let's go to upset alerts, my favorite part of the weekend preview here. And I'll start out here with the Colts, who I believe are +2 now, +1.5, whatever it is. I don't care. I'll take the Colts here, who opened up as favorites in this game in the look-ahead lines before moving to a dog. Again, another comment here. Who the heck wants to bet on the Colts? I mean, sure, they pulled off that win in that last game, but it's not like Anthony Richardson has looked great, and the Steelers are undefeated. Still, unbelievable. And fade Mike Tomlin, it's never a great move, to be completely frank with you. But on the road, in a game where I thought it was weirder to see the Colts as favorites originally than them being dogs right now, I don't even care that they moved to dogs. No shit. Everyone's betting on the Steelers. Go ahead and give me the Colts here. I do think this Colts team is much better on both sides of the ball than they've shown, although their defense has stepped up recently in the last couple games. They did pull off that win against Caleb in that last contest, but I think they ride that momentum and they continue to prove people wrong and that they're a better offense, especially AR-15, than he looked in the first couple games of the season. And I'll take them as a short dog at home to finally hand the Steelers their first loss of the season.
Yeah, man. We'll get to that in a second.
W's?
Yeah.
I want to hear about this Jags play. I do.
Yeah, I'll be backing them. Right hook to it.
I do.
Won't get to 7 for you know what reason, but you know why they got drilled as much as they did last week against the Bills. You know who the best quarterback in the NFL is against man coverage for the past season and a half? Josh Allen, and it's not even close. You know who the best quarterback against zone has been, or second place quarterback against zone has been for the last season and a half? CJ Stroud. You look at his numbers against man. There's only 5 active starting quarterbacks with a worse QBR against man coverage than CJ Stroud. And the Jags play the highest rate of man coverage in the league, and they did last week by quite a bit. So all this to say, there's a reason why you're not going to get anything pushing to a touchdown in this game. It's because the Jags, in a divisional game where nobody in the world wants them, they're going to come out and they're going to make this weird. They're going to make this close, especially in these division games when you go to somewhere on the road. Whether it's going to Houston or vice versa, when you go to Tennessee, when you go to Indianapolis, the road teams always come to play in the AFC South. This is another version of that. Just like I did last week, there's going to be a cover for the Jags in one of these 2 games. It didn't turn out to be the Bills. It's going to be this game. So I will take anybody in chat's action on the Texans this weekend because they are not covering. The Jags are covering, and they're going to have a shot to win this game. You play the matchups, and that one's there.
As gross.
We talked about this game. Go ahead, Trent.
As gross as this is hitting chat.
Agreed. They were +7.5 a couple days ago. Jovan, we talked about it when that line, I think, first came out early on in the week, and we said, yeah, we're probably going to be betting on them again. Now they're down to 6.5. I fucking bet.
Yeah,
take it. +6.5, also just a great wager to take in the NFL because nobody wants to take it. They're not giving you that key number. They're not giving you that touchdown. Typically +6.5, +2.5. +9.5, some of the best bets in football. I think this is another one right here with the Jags. You cannot be buying lower. And people in chat are going to be saying, no way you're putting your hard-earned coins on the Jags. You're goddamn right. And like the legend says, you should always feel uncomfortable when locking in a bet. This is a perfect example of that. Jags +6.5. I'm in.
Yep.
Trent, fading the Chiefs this weekend. Taking the 7 at home. You might need it. What do you like about the Chargers?
The Chiefs have, I don't know the last time they've covered a spread over 5.5. And Chiefs Chargers games are always pure cinemas. And I don't see Harbaugh letting this game get away from him. I'm not saying that the Chargers are going to win outright. I think there's a shot, but I just see this one being a 3-4 point win for the Chiefs. And it's going to come down to probably a field goal or some bullshit at the end of the game, but I just see this one being close. I feel like Chiefs just never cover big spreads. That's been a narrative for years since Mahomes been QB. But it's just too many points at home.
I agree. And the Chargers are due for an outright win against the Chiefs. That's for sure. Chiefs have beaten them at least the last 5 times in a row. Although last year it was really close, 13-12 down to the wire. Maybe Harbaugh stepping in could be the difference this week. And you're not asking for much. Just keep it within a touchdown. Always down to fade the Chiefs. Doesn't typically work out very well, but always down.
Yeah, especially when it's, I don't know, the most obvious spots for them to cover when their Chargers are missing half the team. This is just classic where the Chargers keep it close just like they do every single time they play.
Herbert might not even play. That probably has something to do with that line moving from -4 to -7 for the Chiefs. Who knows? They got a couple other injuries as well. I like the play. Sharp side. We'll see how it plays out, fading the Chiefs.
Yep.
W straight bets here. Some upset alerts chats for the NFL weekends. Why don't we go ahead and move and groove onto our meat on tape plays in the NFL this upcoming weekend, and I'll get it started out with Gooch's Ravens. There's a reason why the Ravens, who are 1-2, although they are coming off that massive win on the road last week where they needed one, like they need fucking oxygen. There's a reason why they're favorites against the undefeated Bills, who have looked like the clear-cut best team in the NFL. It's because they're winning the game, and sometimes it is that simple. Give me the Ravens at home, who are getting some respect here, as they should, against a red-hot Bills team that looks like the #1 team in the NFL right this second. No Stephon Diggs, no problem. We knew the Bills were going to be better. I love hearing stuff from Josh Allen talking about how it's great not having guys who care about stats in the locker room, right? They just want to win. Love that for the Bills, just not in this spot. And I will keep backing a desperate Ravens team here at home as a favorite. I hate laying -2.5s. I will be on the ML in this game, but I can't even ignore the Ravens here, even if they're at that cursed -2.5 line. I think them just being favorites in this spot is very telling, just like they were favorites last week to the Cowboys and pulled off that win and held on for dear life. I'll fade the Bills, who have not seen an offense quite like the Ravens yet this season. Could not be more of an opposite offense that they're going to be facing, and I think that could cause some issues, especially early on in this game. So if the Ravens can get a nice little lead here, could take some stress off my shoulders, and I think they'll just have to hold on, much like they did last week on the road, to solidify that first win in Dallas. Give me the Ravens. Favorite play of the weekend. They win the game once again.
Man.
I'm in.
Yeah. I believe I had Ravens on meat on tape last week. I definitely had the Ravens up there for something. So let's make it 2-0 in a row for the Birds.
It was the favorite section.
It might have been the favorite section. Yeah.
Doesn't throw a pick, bro. Like, what the fuck? It's got to come this game.
Is he up for a pick square?
I don't know. But
Yeah.
Is he?
He's been up every week.
Serious.
Yes, he is.
I don't want to say that I'd put legacy life on the line because of like how fucked it last week. But how the fuck is he not throwing an interception, bro?
3 words. Kyle Hamilton.
I don't know. I legit don't know. Esto in chat saying you're on 2 screens at my house at the same time. W Esto, giving us that extra view. Love that. That's heart. All right. Ravens ML, Jovan, meat on tape, Colts. Whoa. Let's go.
Yeah.
Wow.
I love this spot because, I mean, the Colts have been bad, and I'm probably one of the bigger Anthony Richardson haters you're going to find, but he always comes out in the moments you don't expect it. And from the Steelers' perspective, this is the first game that they're really going to be spread out by a team because they've played their 3 games so far in the regular season have been the Falcons, the Broncos, and the Chargers. Those are 3 very physical teams. And like coming into this game, the Colts have a laundry list of injuries at this point, which is why the line's probably going to keep moving against this, and I'm going to continue to get in at whatever number you get. But the Colts, you're going to beat them through the air, especially on that defense because their secondary's banged up, the D-line's banged up. You need to have Justin Fields beat him through the air in this game to really dominate, especially with the running back injuries that the Steelers are dealing with too. Justin Fields ain't built for that because the first couple games he's been able to just kind of manage the game and get away with it and not turn the ball over, and that's going to win him games. You're going to have to win the game through the air because that's how you attack the Colts. So I will pay to find out that he's not going to be able to do that, especially being that this is the first game. Like I said, you're playing all these physical teams to start the season. And now you're going to a team where you're going to need to beat them with a little more speed, a little more down the field passing. You're going to have to beat them on the edge as opposed to just go right up the gut, which has been the Steelers' plans these first couple games. This feels like a style mismatch to me in this game where you don't expect a good game from Anthony Richardson because what do you know? It's a team dealing with injuries and going up against a really tough Steelers front 7. He's going to have a really good game, especially with his legs. I feel like this is the game where you get the couple bombs over the top, maybe to Josh Downs, who's back in the fold, and he's going to have a bigger role this week now that he's back and healthy. But I will back AR to have a pretty good game against even a tough defense. But I really expect Justin Fields to lose them this game, which is the thing you cannot say he's come even close to doing the first couple weeks as he hasn't had to.
Check.
Trent just fucked the whole thing up again.
Yep.
GG Trent.
Check.
Oh, we're good now.
Good. Nope.
Check 1-2s.
That goes like Ma. Back his paw.
There we
W's.
go. W.
Let's go. W Goots.
Jake
All right.
Fraley, I have your jersey in the cart.
Please. First and second, one out. They got a little meeting up on the mound right now, talking Italian after that second walk in a row. Get to him.
Maryland kid.
Two men on. Maryland kid Jake Fraley. Step up to the dish. Come on. Do a job.
Forget.
Jake Fraley giveaway jersey for a base knock here.
Bro.
No way.
Come on, man.
Yep.
No way. Come on, Fraley. Do your fucking job.
Who wants that?
Also, people forget we're literally fading Trent on the bump for the Cups. That was probably a bad
Man.
sign off the rip.
Spawnage on outs. Jeez.
Okay.
Is it going to be double play? If it is, I'm done gambling. Nope, flat out. We're fine.
All right, let's keep moving and grooving here. We got a couple more things to get to, gents. Why don't we go talk about our prize pick squares for the NFL this weekend, finish up this weekend preview, and then we'll get to the squad rides and the college football squad ride poll. And we'll get you guys out of here. But we need to go over the rest of these winners. And I want to fade Jordan Love. These passing touchdown fades have been printing so far this season, knock on woods. And I'll go with another one here in a game where I love Jovan's under. I love a good old-fashioned slugfest, fading both these offenses that have looked sharp at times this year, but leaning on these real defenses that I think are elite. The Packers defense, once again, underrated this season. I think they're really damn good. And the Vikings defense as well has been very, very impressive. So much so that we might see Flores get a new head coaching job. That's how well he's fucking locking in that defense that has been terrible for the last couple of years. I will back that defense to hold Jordan Love to less than 1.5 passing touchdowns in this contest. And I'll take that less than on prize picks. That looks like a free more than. It's the greenest chart out there. And he's coming back from injury as well. This is the perfect spot to fade J Love. I'll take that less than. And then Marvin Harrison. Yep. Marvin Harrison. This is a square one. I went with a nasty one as the Reds get their third out. Shit. Jordan Love is a nasty square, but Marvin Harrison more of a square here. But I don't see a world where Marvin Harrison doesn't get, 100+ yards against Emmanuel Forbes, who should be back again this weekend, and that Commanders secondary, unfortunately. We saw what the Giants did with Malik Neighbors, moving them all around the fields. I expect the Cardinals to do a very similar thing with Marvin Harrison this weekend, and I don't see anybody on our squad that can slow him down. He's going to absolutely grub. He's going to get 100+ yards, and Marvin Harrison probably going to be the death of the Commanders in this game.
Yeah. Hard to disagree.
Yep. Jovan, let's go to your prize pick squares here, see what you're crafting up.
We're starting with King Mike. Been backing Godwin for the goat whale and backing him every week of this season so far. This is Mike week. And it definitely starts because anytime you see a wide receiver getting bitched at, talking to the press with Baker and Coach Bowles of why are you not giving them the ball? They immediately spawn with 1 million touches outside of the fact that that's just the narrative. But they came out and said, we want to get the ball to Mike Evans early and get him in a rhythm because they haven't been able to do that the past couple weeks. Like week 1, the Commanders are terrible everywhere in the secondary, but they're really, really bad in the slot. So Godwin feasted. Week 2, the Lions are really horrible in the slot, which is why Godwin feasted there too. Week 3, Mike Evans was on Pat Surtain, who might be the best corner in the NFL. This week, the Eagles sit in fucking zone pretty much 1,000,000% of their snaps, which is where Mike absolutely grubs. Outside of the fact that he's going to get a long bomb and probably go over that in the first half, they're going to be able to get him the ball literally whenever he wants, which is the difference between at least the last 2 weeks. So Mike Evans is going to absolutely grub. So I'm on that. And then I think this is a massive week, just like we saw week 1 with Jaden Daniels with his feet for the goat whale. The Cardinals play a lot of man, and they're terrible at doing it, which is why their defense is what it is. But they're missing Austin Eckler in the short pass game, which is a pretty key part of Cliff Kingsbury's offense. You know that as well as I do, Krabs. Where do I think they're going to make up for that? I think it's going to be with Jaden Daniels having a couple more design runs using his legs. So I think he's going to have a pretty big play, and it definitely helps the fact that really like the first couple, parts outside of first couple games outside of the Bengals, even though they're better tacklers than they are defense, the Cardinals are a horrendous tackling team. So I feel like Jaden Daniels for the first time I don't know if he really had like one that he broke against the Bucks. I feel like he's going to break a really long run outside of the fact that I think there's just going to be a lot more added volume because they'll need to. That's their version of the short pass game that they'll be missing with Austin Eckler. So give me Jaden Daniels, big goat whale week for his rushing yards.
Love it. Could not agree more, especially with that last line you just said about how he might not break a big one, but the quantity might be what cashes this for you today, Jovan, because I am seeing that 13.5 longest rush square up on Prize Picks, which makes me think maybe they limit him from breaking a big one, but the quantity should be there.
Does break a big one, Krabs.
Oh, you think he breaks a big one?
Yeah.
You should just take that 13.5 longest rush then, probably, right?
Well, he's only gone over that against the Bucks.
And I think it's just a weird sign seeing that up in the first place, to be honest with you. But
he did get his rush attempts bumped up a whole attempt this week. So
yeah,
I'm good with that. It's definitely Eckler related, but I feel like that's where Cliff gets in his fucking bag.
I think so. Look, we don't have Eckler, like you said. That's going to be massive for us. They've talked about upgrading McNichols. They're going to get him active, up and moving, but they've also talked about Cliff has not overusing Brian Robinson. Well, how are they going to do that? And I have a feeling that they're just gassing up McNichols because it's, what they have to do. Gas the guy up, give him some confidence. And my guess is Jovan is right. They're going to have a couple more scripted runs for Jaden Daniels this week. And also just for Cliff Kingsbury to prove to his former team that he is an elite, offensive play caller, both, throwing the ball and rushing the ball with these dynamic rushing QBs like he's been known for in the past. Would not be shocked either if he has a couple scripted Jaden Daniels runs to prove to the Cardinals what they're missing with Cliff. I'm with you. Love the play. Sure. Love the play. Trent, wrap us up here. What do you like on Prize Picks for this weekend? Oh, shit.
Yeah, I don't know how we don't go back to the wide receiver one against the Moose shit commies secondary. I love that rushing yards play from Jovan. That might have to be similar to what we did last week for the 5K Nukenheimer. Little rushing yards /
your Kyler Lamar guy.
Yeah. But Krabs, how does this not fucking hit with Marvin Harrison? It's got to be.
I don't know. Whether we win or lose, whether they score 50 points or 0 points, I don't see a world where this guy doesn't get 75 yards in the air in a 60-minute interval against his defense. I don't see it. I'm squaring up with you.
And then my second play, it's not on the screen, but it's DJ Moore, right?
Yep.
Yards.
Yep.
I see a big game by Caleb and just feeding his number one target right now. I know Adunze and people are slurping him this week. He had a bunch of targets last week, but I'm just going to stay with what I know, and that's DJ Moore getting the rock for over 55 yards. Even if Keenan's back, I still think that Moore corrupts.
We've got some bumpages as well as the Reds make a great defensive play to get out of that inning on a bunt. W's there, Reds. Let's go hit. It looks like Nolan Arenado at third base there making a great play on the bunt. DJ Moore got bumped up 2 receiving yards. WCLV Trent, love to see that. W's there. I like these squares. I do. I mean, I'm on the first one. The second one, I'm a big fan of DJ Moore. I just traded for him in one of my leagues in fantasy last week. I think him and Caleb are only going to get better as the season goes on. I do. We got Spicy 3 Abby coming in, resubbing. Jovan, are we running it back with Whittington over 25?
Yeah, I probably will. The problem was like they ran the one scary part of it is they ran so many like 2 and 3 tight end sets, which kind of stunted how much he could be in the game. But when he was in the game, he was getting touches. So I mean, this could be a good time to do it. I don't know what they're gonna run against the Bears necessarily, but it's probably a decent spot to buy low with guys that are going to be clamped on the outside, and he's going to be in the slot.
It's facts. Yep. I like those plays. Trent, is there a chance that you might have just taken DJ more because you saw more next to each other? And that might have tricked your brain into taking it?
No. Okay. I've been riding DJ Moore for a while. He's him.
I like him today. I think him and Caleb, that connection's only going to get stronger as the season goes on. I like it. And I like the Bears this weekend. They'll be on the -3 or ML. TBD there. Dubs, great NFL weekend preview segment from you gents. We are not going to do 5 guys in Hail Mary on stream. We're going to crap those puppies up afterwards, give ourselves a chance, not rush it.
Yeah.
For now, gents, we got to go over squad ride. For today, and Squad Ride for college football Saturday. You guys ready to lock in? Find some winners? Gootsy, run that shit. I want to see that train. Let's get some W Gootsy's going in chat. He deserves them. Absolutely killing it. Running the OBS right now, making sure we're all looking pretty. You guys can hear us and stuff like that. Drop the dubs, and let's lock in and find a Squad Ride winner for the people today. Okay, if you guys missed the MLB winners from the beginning, you can always go back and rewatch on YouTube later, or you can look at the little bar going across the bottom with our plays. Did we get a Reds leadoff hit here? Nope. That's a foul ball. Let's lock back into the Squad Ride. Gentlemen, W play yesterday with the over in that Yankees game. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. We'll take it. What are we liking today from some of the plays we brought up earlier? I mean, obviously I'm very biased, but I really do like that Hokies plus 17.5 play, and I don't see a world where they don't cover it. Jovan, maybe you can help weed out the cake there if you think I'm being biased, if you think I have a good point here or a sell job. Let me know.
I don't think it's a horrible play. I don't love it or hate it necessarily, but if you are really this confident and you want a shot, I will be fully in support of giving you a shot.
Yeah, I think they should go on there.
Okay, put it in there.
I think that's one of, if not the best play of the day today. And we're also on different sides kind of in that Rutgers game. I know you've talked about how you kind of lean Washington there.
Yeah, I like the over, though. It's my favorite play in the game. I guess if you're on Rutgers, you probably shouldn't like that.
I don't. What about your Pirates and Rockies plays?
Yeah, I mean, of course I'm down for that.
I love the Rockies.
What are the odds on that plus 1.5 for the Rockies?
Rockies is normal. That's like minus 110, I believe.
I mean, we could pivot from your play there, Jovan, and go with Trent's there. Rockies plus 1.5 that you're already on the ML for.
Yeah.
Squad Ride votes.
Plus chick, plus 105 for the Rockies.
Still on the plus 1.5?
You can get plus 2.5 at like minus 135.
Damn. Well, we might not need that, though. We might not need that with Cal Quantrill on the bump. We'll take the 1.5, though. 100%. Rockies,
India, what are you fucking looking at?
God, come on.
So not dialed.
So on edge with early fucking baseball, man. I hate it.
I like the Guardians on the ML a ton as well. I don't know what your gents' thoughts are on that play.
I could be down for the guards in here for sure.
Really like the Gabba guards. Catching steam. Fading the Astros. Fading Blanco's. Got that weird run square up. I got a weird feeling in my gut. We get a Cleveland Guardians W today.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
You in for that?
Yeah.
What about your Pirates?
Yeah, I like the Pirates. Very in for that. That's
Check
one
that
where
game out again.
we got to go straight up ML on that one.
I think you go Pirates, Rockies at worst is 1-1.
That's why I'm taking or was taking both MLs. And I wasn't messing with the plus 1.5 for the Rockies. But if it's Squad Ride, of course I will.
Let's go, India.
He's on base.
Yeah.
Dubs. Let's go.
Ovations for singles in the third inning.
You want to put the Pirates in here?
Yeah.
Jovan?
I do.
All right. Pirates ML. We've got the Hokies plus 17.5, Rockies plus 1.5, Guardians ML, and Pirates ML. We'll leave the Rutgers game out. We're on different sides there. So leave that over. I don't really love that over, Jovan, although I trust your intuition. I kind of like Rutgers in the under there.
Fair.
Let's roll with these 4 plays and 4 winners for today's Squad Ride. I'm in.
Might be
Sign
the
me
most
up.
Diabolical Squad Ride pull of all time.
Yeah, that shit's nasty.
Nobody's going to give Krabs a shot, and VT is going to find a way to fucking cover, dude.
Take him, Chad. Get involved. Take him.
We gotta take the bookies tonight, fellas. Come on.
Krabs, could you give one last sell job on VT? Actually, I can, Nicky Gourds. Actually, I can. What if I told you that the QB of the Hokies is cousins with Cam Ward, the best QB in football history, NFL and college alone? What if I told you that this is a great angle to back a Hokies team and buy low? Buy stock now when it's at 0. And then when it doubles to when it, 100Xs to 100 after today's win outright, you're going to look like a fucking genius to all your buddies. This game is closer than the spread indicates. The Hokies have not played good a single time this season, and Miami has looked like the greatest team to ever exist in college football history so far. Even last week when they were, in a 1-point game with USF at one point in that game early on in the first half, they still won 50-15 in that contest and looked like it was the easiest win of all time. No chance Miami gets caught sleeping at home during a hurricane with the Hokies coming into town who have zero people in their corner at this point. Nobody believes in the Hokies. Everybody's been hurt by them already this season in some terrible letdown spots. Who wants to bet them today? And why is that spread moving from +20 to +17.5 against the best team in the ACC? I don't know, but I'm going to find out with my hard-earned coins on the Hokies +17.5.
I'm willing to offer this. If the Hokies cover tonight, I'm giving Krabs a pass for one of his teams to automatically push it to the forefront of the squad ride voting next time he has meat on tape for a play.
Huh. Okay.
This is your prove it time, even though it's not going to win the squad ride.
Well, I'd much rather have this be that prove it play than any Nats ML wagers. That's for sure.
Yeah, I figured that.
That's for sure. And with that being said, it's still the Rockies +1.5. I bet. All right. All right. Rockies +1.5. No football plays tonight. We'll stay on the diamond for the squad rides, and we'll back Cal Quantrell. That should go over well.
Bookie Doyle, Bookie
W Bunt.
Hilliard.
W Bunt from the Reds. Man on second, 2 outs. Bring him home.
Who wants
home.
a Tyler Stevenson jersey?
Bring him home.
The
Bring him
fridge.
home.
The fridge goat.
5 more minutes here. Stay locked. Let's go ahead and fire up a college football squad ride for tomorrow, gents, and look at some of our favorite plays of the weekend in college. Let's see if we can identify some winners for the Peaks. What are you geeking out over there?
Immediate out.
Okay. Dudes.
The fade was always the under in this fucking game.
Let's maybe avoid any jersey giveaway comments, Trent, for the rest of this game. You mind?
It's lost in the first pitch every time.
Okay. Do me a favor and just don't say that anymore, all right? Let's go ahead and find some college football winners we love on Saturday. Okay. I'll go ahead and tell you a couple of my favorites. Georgia, Minnesota, Baylor. Probably my 3 faves. Jovan, what are some of these plays that you talked about for college that you simply cannot stop thinking about?
I mean, I love the Bearcats, obviously. It's not just a tonsils thing. I love Cincy. Obviously, I'm not going to get you there with Wazoo, but I love that too. I don't know. I love all my plays. I'm interested. What other than Cincy, just because I feel like you gave me that one. What else is really ringing to you from UNC under? I know you like UNC. USF over, I feel like, is awfully high. Texas A&M, that line is really crazy with no QB.
Plays from you, Jovan, that I like the most today, Cincinnati, for college football. Cincinnati, that North Carolina Duke under, I love. The only problem is that I am going to have sneak units on UNC +2.5 in that game, and I cannot believe that I didn't even put that on my fucking report after talking through that and looking at that one more. That might have to be a whale. So that concerns me a little bit. Maybe we be freaks and pivot there and even put UNC in that. But I don't want to disrespect your under there. If you still feel extremely confident, we could just leave that puppy in there.
I mean, I like the under Krabs. That's just the line that stood out the most to me more than the game. But I mean, we like the same. We have the same sentiment in the game.
I'm in.
So I'm not
We're
too
leaving
mad
it in.
at it. Yeah.
Is that your second favorite play this weekend?
No, I would say because Cincy and Wazoo, but you're obviously not taking Wazoo.
So yeah, it's your second favorite play this weekend. Perfect. UNC Duke under 56. It's your second favorite play this weekend. It's hitting. I'll say that.
Yeah, fair.
And then we could put Cincy in there. Can you check the Carfax and see what spread they're at? Because I was seeing some threes aloof. I want to screw people over.
Let me get up and moving in the Carfax.
Check the Carfax for me, will you? And then I'm going to go ahead and put in a couple of my favorite plays here. I feel like I'll leave out Baylor out of respect. Jovan, I know you didn't love it. I'll put in Minnesota and Georgia. 3.5?
Yep.
I'll put in Cincy. Jesus. I'll put in Georgia and Minnesota. Any qualms with Georgia ML and Minnesota +10?
How much you love Georgia Krabs?
I really, really like them. One of my favorite plays of the weekend. Trust.
Okay. My only worry, even though I will also be on Georgia, is that people are going to vote for it just because Georgia Bam. It's the biggest game.
That's fine. That's fine. I mean, I'll say it again, like I say at least once a week. People should be clicking the right buttons for the best play on the board and not just the play that's on primetime. And if they're not doing that, then we're not locked in chat. Right?
So you put it in, trust them with the vote. Now that it's been said.
Georgia ML. We'll put in that play as well. Minnesota +10. 4 plays, 4 winners for the BTL College Football Squad ride, gents. We'll go, should we squeak in a 5th here for Trent? Do we give him a chance?
Give him a shot. Trent, what's your favorite play?
On Saturday.
College.
I mean, Auburn.
Okay. We'll put Auburn in there. Jovan, you good with that?
Yeah.
Auburn ML. W Goods, W Chat, W Trent, W Jovan, W Crab, W College Football Squad ride. Let's get that poll up and moving and grooving. 5 plays, 5 winners for the College Football Squad ride vote. Hurry up, go, 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 chat. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Twitter, that's fine. That's great. That's cool. Get over to the Twitch chat at Bookit Sports and lock in your vote for the squad ride. Get involved. Leave your mark. Every vote counts. This is a democracy. And please, for the love of God, click the right button for the play that you heard us sell the best today. Don't click the play that was only said by Trent and you want to lock that in and troll and see, how that plays out. Lock in the best sell job you heard today. And if that was Auburn, that was Auburn. Yeah. If that was Cincy, that was Cincy. If that was Georgia, that was Georgia. I don't care what it is, who it is. Lock in your favorite play you heard today that when we were talking about it, you said, you know what, I fuck with that. That's my favorite angle of the weekend, and that's my favorite play. Don't just click the primetime game. Don't just click Auburn. Don't just click Cincy. Click the fucking winners.
Pretty surprised. Trent's getting some love.
I know,
I don't hate that.
Pretty shocked.
I don't hate that.
And hey, from his weekend preview last weekend, he deserves the love. I'll give him that. Because
dude.
Trent, since you've come on BTL, you've been no slouch. That's for sure.
Roll these.
No slouch. They get him or no? Yeah, he doesn't give a shit about this. He's looking at the MLB game.
I'm sorry, dude. I'm in
Let's go ahead and lock back in here. 5 plays, 5 winners. UNC Duke under. Cincy +3.5. Georgia ML. Minnesota +10. And the Auburn ML skis. 5 plays, 5 winners, folks.
I wasn't expecting 24 votes.
I know. I wasn't either, dude.
I'll take
People like
Trent.
That Auburn play.
Trent hasn't had his real shot in college football yet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just getting loose.
Yeah, you're starting to get active.
People hating that UNC Duke under, and they're hating that Minnesota play. Jesus.
Those are going to be literally mock crabs.
Not really surprised to see those ones not getting votes compared to the other 3, considering chat does not listen and does not click on, just the best sell job or play. They click on whatever comes to Jovan's mouth or Trent's play there with Auburn. But you know what? I was going to tell Cincy +3.5 anyways, Jovan. It doesn't fucking matter. That's a winner as well. And we're backing our guy, Brennan Sorsby, to be him with 75+ people in attendance. Correct me if I'm wrong. Was that stated earlier?
That was stated earlier, right out of Brennan Sorsby's mouth.
Come on, Sorsby. Show up for us once again. Respect our coins once again. And we'll meet you guys at the cash counter when Cincy hopefully wins outright or at least keeps it within a field goal, folks. All right, W play. To be honest, I think these are all 5 winners up there on the board, gents. Do not let these plays get swept.
Do you like those plays?
Chat, Trent, Jovan, those are all winners up there.
All winners, dude.
Chad, it's us against the books. I hope you guys have been tailing of late. We've been heating up, lock in, buy low, and let's fucking cash this weekend. Why not us? Why not us?
To address the 2K rumors, yes, I'm down to run it tonight, but later though.
Okay. W's. Trent, Jovan, great show today. Chat, you can always go back and rewatch this show if you want to lock in your plays for the weekend and you forget what we're on YouTube. Go back and rewatch, drop a like, subscribe, and we'll catch you guys on Monday, same time.